Mujan has made a video, a deep dive into the botched social experiment of Nikocado Avocado. I am so excited to watch this because when I reacted to Nikocado Avocado's video with his big reveal, my answer was, this is cringe and lame, and I don't care if you're calling it a social experiment. You did a lot of weird and bad stuff, and I don't like you still. And a lot of people told me that I was one of the ants, that I fell for it, that I clearly don't understand his genius. And my response to that is, Nikocado Avocado pooped himself so many times that there are dozens of compilations up to 30 minutes long of him pooping himself on camera. I don't really care what he wants to call himself now. If he wants to say he's a mastermind, he pooped himself like a bazillion times. He's not a mastermind. He's a pants shitter. Subscribe!
All right. So it's been a little while now since Nikocado Avocado broke the internet by releasing his video titled 2 Steps Ahead, in which he revealed to us that he had done the impossible. He had lost all his weight, but did so over the span of 2 years while uploading a huge backlog of content, tricking the entire internet. But now it's been around a couple weeks since it was released, so I ask you this question: has the shock subsided yet?
I don't know that I was like shocked, mostly because I was like not really invested in Nikocado Avocado. Personally, I am just more so a collector of like tea and tidbits about people on the internet. And so like I knew stuff about him, but like I also don't really care. My thing is, can I ask a question, I guess? Because when you are extremely overweight, the way Nikocado Avocado was previous to this weight loss, you end up having like a lot of like loose and hanging skin. And my question is like, how has he like returned to like the exact way he looked previous to the weight loss without like any hanging skin? And like, is that because he would have had to have surgery to remove it? Is a fair amount of time to get rid of it slowly? It doesn't matter if you do it slowly. When you're as overweight as Nikocado Avocado is, you will have hanging skin, like a very significant amount. He has like very little hanging skin, so I guess I'm curious about that. And maybe this is like overly curious, but I guess it's like also skepticism. There is neither way to get rid of it without surgery through certain exercises. There is no way to get rid of skin that has been stretched by you having an extreme amount of weight and then losing it. There's no exercises to do that. That's not how that works. The skin gets stretched. But I mean, again, I want to say up front, congrats on the weight loss. I still think he's a crappy person and always has been, and I don't really care about his like master plan because he's always been a crappy person.
Can we talk about how his weight was never the problem?
Ever.
I mean, seriously, have we forgotten who this person is? Or did that many new people find him thinking this is some sort of a redemption story? Yes, the weight loss is very impressive, of course. But why are people making it out to be like he was born this way? Like he was being bullied for something that he couldn't control? All of this was self-inflicted.
100% of it was purposeful and like all of it. That's the thing that gets me about it, is trying to pretend like this was like some kind of master plan when he didn't purposely like create a persona to be hated. That's what gets me, is people being like, oh, like we had like he tricked us and all this stuff. He very purposely and intently created a persona to be hated by the internet. That was the entire purpose of most of his channel, especially in the last couple of years. It's not a master plan. You purposely created like the most hateable, frustrating person known to man. That was the point. And so like, it's not us being ants when you were purposely hateable, but he also, it's like, it's not just like he was annoying. He actively did things. He actively did stuff that was like morally reprehensible. That doesn't make it not reprehensible that he was doing it, because now he's saying that it was for attention or whatever. Like, okay, I still think you're weird for that. You know what I mean? I still think you were weird.
He claims that this is all a social experiment. Yeah, sure. If it was a botched social experiment.
Agreed.
This monologue of him saying he's 2 steps ahead while being severely overweight in 2022 wasn't even the first time he hinted at this. And let's not forget the real-world damage he has caused to both his audience and other content creators. Excusing that as a social experiment just sounds like a prankster from 2015. But here's the thing, I still believe that he was 2 steps ahead, not in regards to his weight, not in regards to this botched social experiment, but in terms of something else. how his YouTube channel was never about mukbang. No, it was about something way more sinister, a way to attract certain people to consume a different type of content.
Is somebody finally going to talk in depth about the fact that Nikocado Avocado was specifically making feeder fetish content on YouTube? Are we finally going to get to talk about that, like, sincerely? Because that's exactly what the fuck he was doing. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Oh, I have so much to say about this. I'm not going to spoil you, okay? I'm not going to spoil you on this, but I am so excited to talk about this because when I mentioned this in my video, people did not want to hear me out. But this is, oh, I'm so excited for this. Please, let's talk about the feeder fetish. Holy, I'm so excited.
We'll be talking about Nikocado Avocado like no one on YouTube has ever done before. So strap in, say goodbye to your innocence, and let's do this.
Is a feeder fetish a bad thing? To post on YouTube publicly? Yeah, it's kind of weird. As an advertisement to your OnlyFans? Yeah, it's kind of weird. To be clear, what the feeder fetish is, it is a fetish to feed someone until they get really fat. There are sects of this fetish, and I will say it's not that uncommon within this fetish. And it's also, ultimately, I want to be clear about this because, like, a feeder fetish is inherently incredibly disgusting. Like, it's so foul. The end goal of a feeder fetish is to feed someone until they die. That is what this fetish is. Yeah, he had an OnlyFans, don't get it twisted. But that is the end goal of the feeder fetish. The point of the feeder fetish is to feed someone until they are disabled. They have to rely on you for help and they die. That is what the feeder fetish ultimately is. It is feeding someone until you have complete power and control over them because they are not in control of their lives. There is nothing about the feeder fetish that is like a chill, fun fetish. And that is exactly what he was playing into. And he was, in fact, feeding into the most extreme versions of that fetish, very obviously in public. And maybe we don't include this in the video because I guess it's spoilers. But I want to be clear that there is nothing like chill about a feeder fetish. It's not like, hee, a little foot fetish. I like seeing feet. It's really, it is a super up, super up, like unspeakably up fetish.
Our story begins in Ukraine, out of all places, where Nicholas Perry, otherwise known as Nikocado Avocado, was born. He was adopted by an American couple who then went back to their home state of Pennsylvania and raised him there. He then went on to do a variety of different things before starting his YouTube channel. For example, he majored in violin performance in college and even performed at Carnegie Hall. Pretty damn big deal. He was even interviewed and
just sounds like fat people eating to me. I don't know. Then you're not very good at listening, and I'm not going to bother to explain to you things that are very obvious. Because that's not what I said, and that's not what we talked about. But, like, if you can't hear, that's not my problem. You can Google it, or, like, I guess just be stupid. I don't know. Not my problem. But that's not what I said. You gotta put your listening ears on before you type in here. But that's what it is, though. No, it's not. It's about, no, I'm not explaining it to you because you're stupid, and I just don't have time. Figure it out or don't. Not my problem.
Said that this opportunity fulfilled every musician's dream. Between 2011 and 2012, he made a living as a freelance violinist and a Home Depot worker, and moved to New York City in 2013 to pursue his dream of playing in a Broadway orchestra. But he found it difficult to fulfill this dream when there were so many other talented musicians competing with him.
Yes.
This was also around the time where he would decide to become a vegan. He would meet his future partner and husband, Orlin.
That's what Orlin looked like when they met? I had never seen a picture of Orlin until more recently. That's insane. I'm like, I'm in shock. The transformation is wild. I had never seen a picture of Orlin before he had gained weight.
Home on a Facebook group for vegan men. This is when Orlin would encourage him to come to Colombia and live with him, and Nick did exactly that. Orlin actually was the one to encourage Nick to make his own YouTube channel back in 2014, and he did. He'd go on to make videos centered around his vegan lifestyle and would also upload violin covers. I would argue that the first major turning point in Nick's life wasn't when he created the YouTube channel, but when he made this video titled, "Why I'm No Longer a Vegan YouTuber." This is his oldest video on the channel from September 2016. All the other older videos of him being a vegan and playing the violin have been privated.
Which is like kind of sad in a way, because like the only way to remember him is via like the spiraling Nikocado Avocado like persona. Like it's like you never get to see like who he was really anymore, I guess. It's like it's kind of sad in a way. For the record, I don't know if anybody remembers this era of YouTube where like every YouTuber decided that they were vegan. And there was like this whole like, it was also like, it was like, oh, raw only vegan. I should act like you and just not say the shit I'm thinking because like some good bitch. You're being made fun of, I want to be clear, because you sound stupid, not because you're disagreeing with people. I want to clarify that before I ban you. You're not being made fun of because because you're disagreeing. You're being fun of because you sound like really, really, really dumb. So like, I hope you get better and like learn how to like listen when people talk to you. But yeah, I don't have time for like stupid people in chat. So like, bye. I want to be clear. You could disagree, just be smart. Listen when people talk. Insane. Anyway.
Guys, this could not be a more normal video. He's out here talking about his experiences with veganism, how it started to affect his health, his opinions on it, the people who influenced him to finally take this decision. It was a very well thought out conversation, and he made a lot of good points. You know, back then YouTube was actually very different. Many of the top YouTubers were converting to veganism and were absolutely imploring their followers to do the same. It felt like a Scientologist cult. So
it was kind of wild. And there was also like this really hard desire for people to like go specifically into raw veganism, which is a kind of veganism where like you don't eat anything that is cooked. Like it's like an extremely restrictive version of veganism, which like veganism in and of itself is obviously a restrictive diet, but it took it to like this absolute insane extreme of like, there's like, you had to eat like so much bulk too. Cause like, when you're a raw vegan, like you get a lot of calories from things that are cooked. You get a lot of calories from things like bread, from cooked meat, from cooked foods, from you know, even if lentils and stuff, you know? And so like the amount of actual bulk that you have to eat with those kind of diets is like actually really not good for people. And it's really hard to get all of the nutrition you need. And so like this was like a really weird time in YouTube. And I don't remember if anybody ever like remembered this period of time. But like veganism can be done in a way that is like really good for you, really healthy. And like if you have like a good reason to be vegan, you should absolutely do it. I was vegetarian for like 5 years, but like this was not an era of encouraging people to like do veganism in a responsible and healthy way. It was like, just be vegan and like restrict your diet as much as possible. And like, if you don't get enough like nutrition, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a doctor.
He was one of the first people to go against the grain, and it performed very well. Even though most of his followers were vegan and were following him for vegan content, he still made it a point.
Oh, there's the bird. There's the bird.
To explain his point of view without throwing them under the bus, while acknowledging their choices and telling them that this was his choice. His channel was more centered on lifestyle and sometimes maybe featured recipes and eating, but it wasn't a full-fledged mukbang channel until he started with the cheesiest mac and cheese video right here. This video was very significant, not just because he was renouncing veganism, but because this was when he would start making mukbang videos. And he was one of the first American men to do so.
True.
Mukbang is a concept that was born in South Korea in the early 2010s. It's about someone sitting in front of a camera, eating and talking to the audience, socializing with them. Nick's first mukbang...
I don't think it originally featured the like insane bulk of food style that is really popular now. I'm not sure. I think obviously sometimes it probably did, but I think the concept of mukbang originally was like actually really fun and like cool. I liked mukbangs for a little bit towards the beginning of that becoming something that was more like accepted in the West, you know? But like when I watched mukbangs, it was mostly like normal portion sizes and somewhat normal meals, and not like, let me eat 50,000 calories in one sitting. Let me do what is like the equivalent of like an insane binge in one single sitting of food and make it into a video. Like that part I wasn't a fan of. But like, I think mukbangs originally were really nice because like who tell me if this is relatable. It is like as a person in the modern era, absolutely painful to sit without a YouTube video on and eat your food, especially if you like live alone or you're eating by yourself. Like, you gotta have your YouTube video to watch while you eat your food. And, like, I always thought that mukbangs were pretty nice because you got to, like, sit and eat your food with, like, the YouTuber and they would tell you a story or they'd talk about something. And I thought it was really nice. However, the actual bulk of food became, like, super bizarre. And I wish it never had because it made mukbangs into something that was kind of seen as, like, weird. When, in my opinion, originally... I think mukbangs were like really nice, like sort of wholesome content, and it sucks.
mukbang video did very well and within 2 weeks had over 20,000 views. He saw an opportunity, so he kept going. He was incorporating meat into his diet, dairy, any products he wasn't able to eat during his many years as a vegan. But then, as you scroll down through his oldest videos, you will see the first turning point in his entire YouTube career, which led us here today. And
Yeah,
that's the video.
the gluttony of like these thumbnails, like I just really don't like them. When this became like the norm of these like super, super insane gluttonous, like I'm gonna have like 8 bags of ramen to myself, and the point of it is just watching me shovel food into my face. Like that was when mukbang for me just was like, nah, you curve, I'm good. Say left turn, I'm not into that. But like I think the concept of mukbang is really nice if you do it the way it was like intended.
Titled, I don't want to be vegan anymore. This is really interesting. At this point, he wasn't fat at all. And yet, I can see very big similarities between this thumbnail and something like this from 2020. He would have this technique where he would make his face more red than it actually is, always highlighting the same spots. You can see this in this thumbnail as well. 2 exaggerated red spots above his eyes, very red cheeks, and of course, the signature Nikocado Avocado crying face.
I want you to remember this information and perhaps consider quietly to yourself why you would want to emphasize the ugliness and the redness of the face. Just sort of log that in your head for later. Because I assume that I have not watched this video, to be clear, just for chat. This is not pre-watched. I just know about Nikocado Avocado. I'm really excited to talk about this. Just remember that. Log that one in the files, all right?
This video was a stark contrast from this video, where he was talking like a normal human being. This one was not only saying that veganism is bad, but straight up making vegans look bad, going up against them. As you can see from the like and dislike ratio, this wasn't received very well, right? Most of his audience at the time was still vegan, and he was practically insulting every single one of them.
What the f was that food? What was that? What was that? How do I like go back like a frame? What is the button to go back 1 frame? Or like, do you know the one? What is that button? Is it comma? What was that? I don't, because like arrow is 10 seconds. I just wanted to go back like a frame or 2. What is that? I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm just legitimately curious what that is. Casserole? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just curious.
He even doubles down here and makes another video, even longer, called Why Veganism is Wrong and Makes People Go Crazy.
Why veganism is wrong and makes people go crazy. I mean, to be fair, it kind of can. Because, like, it is hard to get all of the nutrients you need. And if you're not making sure that you're getting all of your, like, macros and all of your vital nutrients and stuff, like, it can make you really, really sick. Which is hard. Like, it takes a lot of effort to make veganism healthy and work for you. Crazy title, though.
Yet again, taking the same approach with him crying, making these faces, and demonizing all his vegan viewers, saying that he's been receiving a lot of hate comments ever since he stopped being vegan and that he can't handle it anymore. The thing with Nick at this point is that he was only testing the waters. He was curious. He knew drama sold on YouTube, but he wanted to see how far he could push it, and well, it worked very well, more than he could have ever imagined. He was able to measure this level of success when the Daily Mail would make an article just about him, titled YouTube Star Made Famous for Eating Vegan Food on Camera Breaks Down in Tears During a Bizarre Video Rant Renouncing Veganism and Insisting It Is Wrong and Makes People Go Crazy.
Really slow news day, I guess. Slowest news day known to man. We gotta report on this Nikocado Avocado situation. And again, like veganism can be a really good thing, and like if it fits your value system or there's like a reason that you want to be vegan, I think you should do it. The problem is that it takes a lot of effort, and if you don't have time to cook your own food, what you're gonna end up doing is sticking to like the same 4 foods that you can make within a short amount of time, and you're not gonna get enough nutrients, and you're gonna feel like poop ass. And so like veganism is something you have to go into like so like intentionally would be the word. But if you didn't know, I believe Nikocado Avocado was specifically a raw vegan. So like you have to take multivitamins, you have to track your macros, you have to track all your information. It is super difficult. And like, I guess be aware of that. You're going to feel like crap if you go into veganism and you don't do it properly, because you're not going to get enough nutrients. You're not going to get all of the like vitamins you need, and you're going to just be miserable.
He loved it so much that he made an entire video just reading through it and talking about it. This to him was his eureka moment. Like, oh my God, I know what to do now. This is easy as hell. I'm going to keep doing these over-dramatized videos from time to time, and I'm going to keep eating a lot of meat to piss off the vegans so that they keep talking about me, and that's exactly what he did. You can see this in his videos. You would scroll down, you'd see him eating stuff, being happy, smiling, and then all of a sudden, breaking vegan, the benefits of eating meat again. Yet another inflammatory title towards the vegan community. Same type of
I'm gonna be honest. Thank you for the resubs, by the way. I think I don't know other couple people, but I will say, and this is maybe just like a bit of haterations, because I think a lot of people find vegans sometimes overly preachy around, especially this period of YouTube. Like the veganism preaching was like, oh god, it was unbearable. It's kind of funny. Like this period of the internet, the vegan was like super annoying. I think a lot of that has like died down over the years. But yeah, at this point it was very preachy, and it is kind of like, it is a little funny, I guess.
thumbnail where he's looking like he's about to break down crying. You scroll down some more, and then you see my compulsive eating, not appropriate for children. You scroll down some more, and then you see, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Again, same type of thumbnail. And just judging by the views, that
what the is that? Wait, are you vegan? No, I've been vegetarian before. I don't do it anymore because I just don't do restrictive diets. However, I think veganism is pretty cool if you do it right. But this is insane. Galaxy Gas and Galaxy Pizza. That's 100% lead. That is like so foul. Wow.
there is a stark contrast between the upload before it and after it. And for the most part, it was harmless. This was only limited to himself, and this wasn't the first time someone on YouTube back then was making content like this. One of the best examples of this was Boogie2988. He would play a character called Francis, your stereotypical fat gamer with anger issues, and he would get a lot of views thanks to this. Nikocado was essentially taking a page from his playbook. But one
yeah, I think that this era, it's like, is it annoying? Sure. Is it lame? Sure. Is it kind of cringy? Absolutely. However, at this point for Nikocado Avocado, it's kind of like harmless. I'm sure the vegans are very upset, and I'm sure people maybe get a little bit annoyed by the content, but it's relatively harmless. Like, it's a bit of farming. And you know what? Yeah, he's not Boogie. Like, man, Boogie took a turn too. If you're going down Boogie's footsteps,
thing you need to really understand about Nikocado Avocado, or just Nicholas Perry, is that he is never satisfied. Every time he reaches a higher level,
I really want to make a joke about the mukbangs on that one. It's so easy. It is the lowest hanging fruit known to man for me to make that joke. I'm not gonna make that joke. However, all of this food, except for like just like the normal pizza, this shit looks foul. I don't think you could pay me money to eat whatever the this is. Like, this looks disgusting. Like, I like this. Looks so like, this does not look good. Ew.
he asks himself, okay, how can I get even higher? This is when he would start to include Orlin, his partner, in this whole scheme. But here, in order to achieve a grander effect, he would start to blur the lines between fiction and reality.
I'm gonna stop pausing so much, I want to be clear. Orlin looks so cute. He was so cute. He had his little dimple, like, he was a handsome boy. I did not know what Orlin looked like before everything. He was so cute. Like, what is this?
Before that, though, the only interactions they'd have on his channel were positive. They were just filled with wholesomeness. For example, this video right here titled He Said Yes, Mukbang and Recipe would be when Orlin would finally propose to Nick in the cutest way possible. Guys, you have to watch this. It's adorable, especially since everything onwards will be terrible. No, but really, there's something important in this video that most people didn't really notice up until it was too late. Watch.
All right, we're going to watch and see if we can guess. Also, as a note, wearing a Perry the Platypus hat to propose is kind of wild. Like, I just want to say, like, that's kind of crazy, but okay.
Well, that's really good for you. It's good for your skin and your hair.
Orlin, I'm like in the middle of playing. Hold on.
You love your hair.
What's
your hair? But
hold on, let me play. I'm gonna play this, and then we can start. We just put that with the pasta.
No, we didn't know. It's really good for you. You really want this avocado. It's a special one.
Orlin, why are you being so weird? What's wrong with you?
Here, you really want this avocado. You really want it.
What are you doing?
It's an avocado.
How did you? What?
Will you marry me?
Isn't that just so wholesome? I'm sure you're smiling right now, but
I'm smiling. It's cute. Whatever. Okay. I'll always get a little misty at a proposal video, and specifically videos where somebody in the military sees their kid again after being deployed. Those are two videos I'll get misty on those every time. I'll sweat out my eyeballs. And I know I'm about to find out something I don't want to find out. But in this moment, that shit cute. In this moment, it's cute and I don't care.
I have news for you. It was all staged. This was all fake. Orlin actually proposed to Nick in a national park in Colombia. And they just reenacted this whole proposal on the video because they thought it would be fun. You see, normally I would have sat here and thought, okay, well, that's cute. I don't mind. It's whatever.
Yeah.
But then I have this realization. If they were such good actors back in 2017, then in this video posted in 2021, is there a single thing that's real here? Did they just become...
God damn, this shit is sad. It's sad. And again, I agree. Like, I don't really care if it was like acted out, because like I think it's fair if your engagement was like a private, personal moment, you know. But like, you want your fans to be able to enjoy sort of like the sweet experience, and so you reenact it rather than filming the original one, because that's like kind of lame. Like, let me do my proposal for content, like my actual proposal. So like, I think it's okay. But in a retrospective sort of way, yeah, it was pretty convincing. Like, I assume that most things on YouTube are fake personally. So like, I don't necessarily mind, but in retrospect, in hindsight, man, it's crazy to see like the acting, I guess.
better actors? We'll get to that later. But you can see how quickly things evolved, and they hadn't even gained an unhealthy amount of weight yet. The happiness after this marriage proposal didn't really last long. In fact, it barely lasted at all. All the content involving Orlin after this would be mostly negative, with very few videos being positive. Nikocado Avocado would start posting videos of him complaining about his relationship with Orlin and how bad things were, saying that this is a special...
This is, again, like we were talking about this earlier, like, I don't believe in talking about personal stuff online like that. Unless it's relevant to my viewers, I just refuse to talk about it. Hi, Ethan. It's good to see you. How are you doing? Been subbed on your YouTube, first time catching you on Twitch. Welcome in. What's popping? But yeah, I just feel like personally, unless it is relevant to you as the viewer or it will affect you as a viewer, I'm probably not going to tell you, you know? Because it's not like I have not gone through stuff or had things going on in the background when I've been a content creator that like was affecting me deeply and was like a big deal. But like, I just don't share it because it's like none of y'all's business. And if it doesn't affect the content, why should you know? You know what I mean? Like, what is the point of you knowing if it doesn't affect the content? I guess like it just creates such an unhealthy thing, and I just refuse. I'll share with you things that are interesting, or I'll share with you a story after it's happened for like context, or like if it's on topic. If it affects you, I'll give you a little bit of a brief summarization. But yeah, like I hate when content creators just be sharing their lives like insane. It's just too much. I don't like it. It's not my preference.
Especially sad for him because they haven't even gotten officially married yet and doesn't know what to do. But this wasn't just an exaggerated character anymore. This wasn't just Francis from Boogie2988 being Nikocado Avocado. No, he would start to touch on some very dark topics, like how some of his attitudes toward Orlin would start to hurt him, how he was dealing with a lot mentally, how he was thinking of evaporating his soul out of his body and leaving the planet for good, if you get what I'm saying. If you were a viewer...
Insane to share on the internet in a video. I feel like that's been way more normalized also since this. Insane to share in a video. I think sometimes there are reasons that you would like do a retrospective and like share something like that. But like actively saying stuff like that on a video is so like, it just encourages the worst kind of relationship with your audience, the worst perception of you, the worst perception of your life. It invites so much speculation. I really just don't like this. And I think this has gotten more normalized and not less. And I just don't like it at all.
Of his back then, you must have been so confused. It's like, what happened? This is when Nick would start to take full advantage of the compassion and empathy his audience had for him, and made it look so effortless in the process as if he didn't care, and spoiler alert, he never cared. This is also when he would start to film himself gaining weight, saying things like, I don't know why I'm gaining weight, this is so weird, filming all these angles of his body. You know, there's a reason he was doing this. Even back then, 7 years ago, he knew exactly what he was doing, and I would say that the people...
Again, remember this kind of video, right? Remember what he's doing on this video. Remember what we're seeing. I'm assuming if Muujin doesn't go over this, I'm gonna cry. Hex, go hang out with Dicktone. I'm live. He's live. What do you want me to do? But like, he does. Okay, I'm assuming he goes over the topic I think he's gonna go over because of the intro of this video. Remember this kind of stuff. This stuff matters when we understand the kind of content that ultimately he was creating. This like shaking his belly. This is essentially body checking, if you understand what that is. This is important to understand over time. And like nobody talked about this. And like I could not even begin to know how to start talking about this. So I'm so glad Muujin is here because he's saving my life right now. I needed people to know this.
People involved, the people encouraging this behavior were already present back then. This is a very important video that serves as the first instance towards what Nikocado Avocado's channel would be for, his dog.
Like, look at how much he's doing this also. Look at for how long he's focusing on this like body checking and demonstrating his fat. This is important.
Dark secret that many still don't understand. I will touch on this later in the video, but just bear in mind, this is when he would start to gain weight in 2017. The weight gain back then though still wasn't really a concerning priority. Nick and Orlin had finally managed to get married by flying to the US and sealing the deal in a courthouse there. And people were hoping for the best. You know, they seemed happy. They went to Chick-fil-A afterwards as a middle finger to Chick-fil-A because they don't support gay marriage.
It's like,
and overall, the audience was nothing but happy for them. You know, the only dislikes I can think of are people coming years later or vegans at the time. There is, of course, a stark contrast.
the vegans coming to hate on... Sorry, that's funny. The vegans coming to hate on Nicocado's Avocado's wedding because they're mad about what he said about them is so funny. Yeah. Marriage in Nike shorts is wild. I mean, let people have their own wedding, their own way they want to have it. I also got married in a courthouse, to be fair. Granted, I was not in my shorts, and neither was my husband. But like, I got married in a courthouse. I love a courthouse wedding. It was slay. I would never have done it any other way. It was amazing.
Contrast though between the comments left 7 years ago being all positive and the comments left 2020 onwards being all negative. And there's a reason for that, of course.
Yeah.
After the marriage though, things between Nick and Orlin would only become more disturbing. In this video titled Why We Broke Up, coming out of nowhere, it's like, wait, I thought you guys just got married. What happened? They talk about how they had broken up and just reunited together again. And in it, they touch on some pretty uncomfortable topics. For example,
and then he had another. You have another one? Well, you double dipped and you had a mutual friend.
There was like 4 or 5 in DC.
4 or 5, yeah.
Dude, I was like, whoa!
Whoa. Okay, there was...
Oh, God.
Okay.
Here they're talking about how many people Nick had slept with while they were taking a quote-unquote break before getting back together. Now watch a bit more and tell me if you can notice something that is a bit obvious. Let's go.
Okay. And in New York, there was like 3 or 4. But by the time I got to London, I was just...
You tried to get like 2 in London, but it didn't work out.
No.
You tried to do one in Pennsylvania, 2 at our friend's house, and it also didn't work out.
My friend's house? Who's one?
Our friend.
Oh.
You tried to do...
He can't even remember all the times he cheated. Isn't that crazy? It's almost like he's having to remember stories. Like they're not real. Oh my God.
one there, but like...
Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but it's very obvious that everything here is made up. They're making numbers out of their asses, and they're sometimes like looking at each other like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, you mean that? Okay, so this is improv. Their acting, of course, throughout the years has gotten so much better, but back then they still had a lot of work to do. The idea here was simple.
I love how casual they are about it. Yeah, you know, the 15 times you cheated on me, like you just kept doing it. Wasn't that like so crazy? Like they're saying it like so like, oh my God, you remember when you went to my friend's house and you tried to cheat on me, and you were in like DC and you cheated on me like 4 times and you tried to cheat another time, but you like failed. Like, oh my God, isn't that crazy? Like, Jesus Christ.
Nick had seen how many views he was getting for acting all crazy and thought, you know what, the next level would be to have a crazy relationship, or to at least make it seem that way. This was nothing more than him trying to shock his audience with content not seen anywhere else on YouTube. but people at the time just couldn't tell. You know, there was a massive clue here, the fact that this was uploaded on April 1st, 2017, and still people couldn't tell.
Damn, that's crazy. Not April Fools. Damn.
The comments saying things like, the laughing from Orlin looks like it's a defense mechanism and he's just hurting. For some reason, Orlin strikes me as someone with zero confidence. It's really sad. He seems nice, but in a pitiful way. Cheating is disgusting and inexcusable, period. So far, Nick had already done many videos complaining and crying about Orlin and how he doesn't want him anymore. About how bad he thinks he is and how he can't live with himself anymore. And
I wonder if any of that would like be harmful to a legitimate relationship, like going on YouTube and getting like hundreds of thousands of views or tens of thousands of views saying like, my relationship is terrible. I don't want to be with this person anymore. It's so awful. I wonder if that would be harmful to a real life relationship if that was like legitimate, you know?
the audience believed it. Why wouldn't they? The reason they must have started watching Nick back then was because, unlike other YouTubers, he was actually honest about veganism. He was someone who would share his ups and downs. He would sit there and eat food and talk about his life and stories that he had gone through. People saw him as a friend they could trust. So at this
Nikocado Avocado being a friend you could trust is insane.
point, yes, this could have genuinely been an April Fool's joke by these two. Maybe they were genuinely planning on uploading a video the next day saying that this was a prank, clarifying things. But I think seeing the attention they were receiving and seeing the types of comments that were being left on the video only made Nikocado Avocado want to keep going. Why ruin the illusion? Why make people think that they were stupid? Why give that to people? There was simply no reason to anymore. Nick would keep growing, reaching 500,000 subscribers by 2018, but would keep the same strategy.
Oh God, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a girl who has an upset tummy. Well, like I'm looking at all this food and it's just like your trips to the bathroom must be insane. I know that this is not necessarily valuable like commentary on this. But when I see this, it's just like your toilet hates you. Cause like, it's just crazy to me. It's just crazy looking. That food is like insane.
Going. A lot of mukbangs and then tragic news. Him crying again on the thumbnail. A lot of food and then all of a sudden, he broke my heart.
I want to be real. That's kind of like, okay, if I see funny, I want to say funny. Okay. He broke my heart, crying, shirt off, eating, what is that, like bread? It's kind of like, I guess the absurdity of it is making me giggle. I don't know. It's just like, damn. It's kind of funny.
This video was very significant because this was the first time we saw Nick in such a state. He was shirtless, clearly having gained weight, not hiding it, ugly crying throughout the video and gorging his mouth with food. But
what is that? Is it bread? It looks like squishy. It's tripping me the out. What is it?
The very sensitive topics would continue. He said that every day I have to wake up and hope that Orlin hasn't died, and starts to talk about some sort of autoimmune disease he has that could take his life at any time. Again, just picture yourself as an audience member, someone who watches him for his mukbang content, who likes to listen to his stories, to what he has to say, and then you see this. At a certain point, his audience had lost track of what's real and what isn't, what's factual and what's fiction. No one knew. Genuinely no one knew. Because why the hell would anyone do this to themselves? Why would you cry on camera and post it? Why would you gain so much weight and show it off? It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you? Why would you do that to yourself in the first place?
At this point, he wasn't doubling down or tripling down or quadrupling down or quintupling down. He was sextupling down, okay? There are 6 videos of this type uploaded in quick succession, with most of them being filmed in the same room. He broke my heart. He broke up with me on Instagram. The reason why my husband left me. I've had enough with him holding a knife.
Insane. My
ex-husband forced me to delete this. Not for kids.
My ex-husband forced me to delete this. The video currently on YouTube.
Catching my husband going behind my back. Deleted video. Oh, and of course, we can't forget our final video together. Making it
Oh God, that's so unhinged, dude. This thumbnail is foul. Jesus.
Like they're actually breaking up. The views don't lie. They speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And we can also see part of Nikocado's strategy here that wasn't obvious back then. The fact that he pre-records a lot. I don't think it's crazy to say that all 3 of these videos were recorded in the same day. He had found a formula and it was working, but it was leaving his audience in the dark. People didn't know whether to be concerned or worried about his health, about his safety, if they needed to call the cops, if they needed to contact authorities. But of course, just like any videos, any content creator on YouTube, there were people there that were laughing their asses off over his ugly crying and how he wasn't making any sense. He simply wouldn't stop. More videos of him ugly crying and videos of him complaining about his appearance. Again,
I'm sorry. I just keep looking at the videos of the food and like makes me want to heave. Like, I don't know. And I was like, I'm not really like super judgmental of like somebody eating unhealthy food. Like, unhealthy food is delicious. Otherwise, it would never be made. You know? It's easy and delicious and it tastes good and yummy. And so like in moderation, anything's fine, but it's like just like the gluttony of it is like so I know that it's partly like clickbait stuff too, but I just
showing off his body, showing off his double chin, showing off his evolution. But then you'd randomly see Orlin eating food with him. People didn't know what to think. Nikocado Avocado would keep growing and even reach 1 million subscribers, continuing to do what he's been doing for the last couple of years and not showing any sign of stopping. In fact, he would take the decision to turn it up.
Is that?
This time to a turning point for many. In the video, Nobody Likes Me, I'm Done, he just sat there crying, not saying a single word. He was just crying. Nothing made sense. He had noodles with eggs in front of him.
You know, maybe this is just because I have hindsight, but it does look like he's making himself cry. I don't know. I never watched these like when they were happening really because I just don't really like the content, like the amount of food that they eat and the kind of food they eat is kind of gross to me. And they usually make a lot of mouth sounds and it's like, but like looking back on it, I'm looking at this and I'm like, he's making himself cry right now. Like it does not look like he's legitimately crying. He looks like he's making himself cry. But again, it's like, I have that like hindsight.
Took out a razor and shaved his hair onto the food. But to make matters even weirder, he would smear the eggs on his face and then attach the hair on himself to make himself seem like he had some sort of a beard. And the video just ended there. This video was too much, even for someone like Nikocado. His audience had been dealing with a lot of clickbait, with a lot of things they didn't know whether to believe or not. But to many, this was actually a turning point. Many chose to not support him anymore or just watch him to see how far he'd go down the rabbit hole. To many, this was someone losing his mind. But he wasn't.
My brain, like, it's like performance art almost. Like, maybe it's supposed to mean something. Like, my brain is trying so hard to like explain it, and the problem is I think it is inexplicable. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have like a reason that this exists, but like I don't think there's a good reason. It's just something that's there.
Signs were there. The video right afterwards is called Chick-fil-A with My Ex-Boyfriend, His First Time Mukbang. And just watch this clip. It'll make sense.
I mean, I shaved my head completely once.
See, you can relate to the video. You had a Britney Spears moment too. I think we all
Yeah, but I didn't cry and scrape an egg to my face.
I don't know about you, but if I was having a breakdown and was genuinely losing my mind, I wouldn't be laughing at this in the video right after it. It was clear.
You'd probably laugh at it eventually. I certainly would. Eventually, probably. But maybe I'm also one of those people that like copes via humor. But no, not the next video. Also, is that really an ex-boyfriend or like what was that? What's going on there?
That even back in December 2018, this was nothing more than a way for him to get views and clickbait. He didn't take it seriously, and he didn't really care about anyone concerned about him. He was just doing it for the attention. But this is yet another turning point. Not because of how crazy this video was, but because making content on himself and Orlin just wasn't enough anymore. He needed to include other people. And this is where things really started to get out of hand. More so than he could have ever bargained for.
No, I think he bargained for it. I actually think that it was a calculated risk and he took it.
Now, every once in a while on YouTube, you have a drama that occurs that is so big, so earth-shattering that it becomes an integral part of YouTube history. One of those dramas were back in 2018, involving one of, if not the biggest English-speaking mukbanger at the time, by the name of Veronica Wang. As you can see at the time, she could make a video of her eating a lot of noodles and she would get over 10 million views. She would get millions of views like it was nothing. She made it look easy. But how did it all begin? Well, as mukbang was becoming
I'm gonna be real, I never watched Veronica Wang. That was mostly because like I like Stephanie Sue and like a handful of other people occasionally, but like to me, I think mukbang got so out of hand so quickly with the amount of food that like it was a very like short period of time that I even really paid attention to mukbang at all. Because like once it started getting into like, okay, so these are just like binging sessions for content creators for me to like watch, I was kind of like, I don't know about that.
Becoming more and more mainstream, you started to have meme channels. They would take out of context clips from long mukbang videos and make meme edits out of them. And they were pretty damn popular. This one, for example, sitting at 4.1 million views, highlighting how in a mukbang collab with another mukbanger by the name of Stephanie Sue, Veronica wasn't listening to the conversation at all and was just focused on the food. Now, at the center of this drama was a meme channel like this by the name of Shookbang, sitting at 44,000 subscribers at the time, so significantly smaller than Veronica Wang. Look, this whole incident can be summed up very easily. Veronica Wang ended up striking 2 videos from Shookbang's channel after saying that she liked the edits. It didn't make any.
To be clear, two is crazy. 2 is crazy. 2 is crazy. Because like, okay, if you strike 2, the reason that that's insane is because it takes 1 more strike and that person's channel is just taken down. Like that's the YouTube copyright strike system. So it's like 1 is like, okay, it's a little warning. 2 is like, try me, bitch. Like that's like super up to do to another content creator, especially when it is transformative content.
Sense. It later turned out that she considered these videos to be a form of cyberbullying and argued that she was receiving hate comments purely because of them. She defended herself in the worst ways possible, throwing her friends under the bus and throwing her audience under the bus too. She did every wrong thing imaginable from a PR standpoint. She really screwed up royally. Compared to other dramas on YouTube, it was so petty. But it still blew out of proportion because this was the mukbanger community's first major drama of this scale.
I also think that calling out people who abuse the copyright strike system is important. I don't think that it is that petty because you're taking somebody like 44K is not a huge, massive channel, but that is somebody who's worked really hard on their content and has done some amount of achievement, right? 44K is more than I have on my channel right now. And I know I've worked really hard for what I have. So like you're taking, like you are threatening the existence of someone else's channel that they have put a lot of time and effort and like put a lot of work into. And so I actually don't think it's that petty. I think that her reason for striking the channel was really petty. But 2 strikes on a channel just because like boo-hoo, I got some mean comments. I actually think that does need to be talked about and pointed out. And I do think that needs to be criticized.
This is when many would turn on Veronica wholeheartedly, but at the same time, this was when Nikocado Avocado would see an opportunity. He saw a way bigger creator get a lot of hate, so he jumped on the bandwagon and made himself the defender of the smaller creators. Shookbang had made a video exposing Veronica Wang and the fact that she had striked their channel 2 times. On the video, he wrote this very well thought out comment in which he called out Veronica for being a weird two-faced liar, saying she liked the videos and then striked them shortly after, and made the comparison saying, "I am the most targeted and made fun of. Literally hundreds of videos made about me, we all know this, but I don't strike them with false copyright complaints. I don't disable my comments either. People are entitled to their own opinions." So Veronica gets her first one made about her. Literally, I've never seen a video made about her before, and she nearly bans you from YouTube completely? That's awful. And then ends this by saying, "And before any of you say I'm creating drama, all of this was done publicly by her. Everybody is able to respond or react to what she has already disclosed publicly. No hate to anybody, just my honest thoughts."
Honestly, a bit of base Nikocado, a rare Nikocado avocado take, you know, very cool. I think abusing the copyright strike system is, when it's invalid, is pretty. I think it's really, because the thing is about the copyright strike system is it has to be a social contract among content creators, because it is the YouTube's copyright strike system is dog. It is absolutely horrendous. It is easy to take advantage of. It is easy to abuse. And so when a content creator does abuse it against other content creators in an invalid way, they absolutely should be called out for that. And it is not acceptable because it is abusing a system for your own benefit when literally anyone can also do the same to you. That's why it's like up, by the way. I think a lot of people don't understand why like copyright striking is like seen as like kind of like a big faux pas, like a really up thing to do. Is because when you abuse it in transformative content that is put in the effort to, you know, transform it to make it new, and they have followed fair use. When you know, copyright strike someone's stuff, you are breaking a social contract, because the reality is that anyone can do it to you in return. It happened recently with Iron Mouse. You know, her channels got 3 copyright strikes. They got taken down. That's why, is because like when you abuse it as a content creator, you're breaking a contract, a system that only works if everyone agrees to use that system appropriately. Because anybody can just come and do that to you. So you can't abuse that. Like, that's why it's like really, because a lot of people are like, well, it's her content, she can do whatever she wants. I've seen a lot of people say that kind of stuff in these situations. But like, the YouTube copyright strike system is absolutely abominable. It's a horrible system. It is absolutely just like disgusting. And so when somebody abuses it, it needs to be called out, because anybody could do that to you as well.
So as I said, this was a very easy stance to take. Veronica was going on a complete crash out. She even commented on this video herself, doubling down and not apologizing. She just couldn't stop sabotaging herself and genuinely thought she was in the right.
The smaller channel pinning that comment is so iconic to me. Because it says there it's pinned by Shookbang. So they just pinned her comment, digging herself a deeper hole on the video.
She would keep doubling down and go live on Instagram to defend herself further. Nick wouldn't leave her alone though. He'd still be there, publicly calling out her hypocrisy for everyone to see. Similarly to the Mr. Beast drama going on in 2024, this incident was so massive that it had created careers. Many channels were talking about it. But more importantly, Nick was understanding very quickly that this was the way to go. This was the next logical evolution of his character. But this time, instead of limiting it to himself and his marriage, it would be about other YouTubers. This was a net positive for Nikocado Avocado. He had witnessed growth and at the same time, a change in public opinion. People were starting to like him more and more. He had made this video right here called Veronica Wang Attacks Me and Spreads Nasty Lies, and the views speak for themselves. This was on his second channel, and this was a great way for him to grow that second channel as opposed to the first channel. And let's not forget the very positive like to dislike ratio. Something
I think that it is fair to give credit where credit is due on this one. I think he was on the right side of history or whatever. But I think it is fair to, like, I guess, note how intentional things are for Nikocado Avocado and his content. And I think that's really interesting.
Nick was not used to at all. He would make yet another video about Veronica Wang on his second channel. Things were going really well for him, so it only made sense that he'd want more of this content. He ended up getting exactly that, this time him being at the center of the drama and it being on a way larger scale. A few months after this drama, Nikocado would get into yet another drama, this time directly with the YouTuber Trisha Paytas. This is someone who has been nothing but controversial her entire career. And what she actually did to Nikocado Avocado was wrong. There was petty drama going on between them, right? Whatever. But Trisha released their conversations after editing things that Nick said and editing things that she said, trying to make him look bad. All Nick had to do was just show the original receipts. That's it. That's all he had to do. And he won the battle of public opinion. People were completely on his side. This was yet again a net positive for him. Again, the view.
Yeah, this one was dumb. I remember this one. Also, I do want to say, if you, I keep up with a little bit with Trisha Paytas, a little bit, because I was really a big fan of the Frenemies podcast on H3H3 when it was there. It seems like Trisha Paytas has been doing a lot of work on herself, and like she's done like a lot of healing, and it's really good to see. So if you don't know that, it's just like kind of a note to me, because she's put up, I've seen some TikToks of her and stuff where like she really seems like she's been working on herself, and I think that's really awesome. This was really stupid and very like this whole thing was just like on her part just absurd.
You speak for themselves, and the like to dislike ratio also speaks for itself. Things were going great, and he wasn't about to stop anytime soon. He hadn't made just one video on Trisha, he had made 3. He was milking this like crazy, and why wouldn't he? This was bringing traction to his entire channel. This drama content would continue with him sipping on tea, calling it tea mukbang. And it was doing wonders to both his channel and his reputation. He was starting to like this. He probably thought to himself that, man, I can get used to this. Until he flew too close to the sun, much like Icarus in Greek mythology, burning his wings off due to being overly confident and cocky. And
insert joke about flying and Nikocado Avocado being overweight. I don't know. I just feel it. I know that it's there. I know the joke. I'm not going to bother to find the joke. You can make the joke yourself, but it's there.
Having everything he has done so far backfire on him horribly, more than he could have ever imagined. On December 21st, 2019, Stephanie Sue would upload the video titled Why I Am Scared of Nikocado Avocado with a very concerning thumbnail of her crying. Even worse, the video starts off in a very concerning
Insane. The pause on that looks wild because she looks insanely cross-eyed. Sorry.
way that makes you think the worst has happened.
Yeah.
Watch.
In and out of sleep.
In and out of sleep.
Hopefully you can trust me now.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Good.
Whole Me Too movement.
Hashtag me too. Hi.
Yeah, people were very concerned about this intro. It was implying
Yeah.
many bad things. So what the hell happened? Here's how it all started. Stephanie
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, the intro to that was needlessly over dramatic. And I'm not sure if that needed like a cinematic intro like that. Even as somebody who likes Stephanie Sue, I had kind of not remembered a lot about the drama. I went back and rewatched it after posting my video about the Nikocado Avocado, like 2 steps ahead video. I will be real. I do think that he's weird and slimy and gross, and she had every right to post a video about it because of the situation. That intro was insane. I'm just gonna be real. Totally unnecessary amounts of melodrama on that one. That video was crazy.
admired Veronica. In fact, she had shouted her out at some point in one of her videos, and this was a dream come true for Stephanie. At some point, they were finally able to meet up and do a collab together. The meme video I showed you earlier was actually from that first collab of theirs. During this collab though, Stephanie realized fairly quickly that her and Veronica were fairly different. Their personalities weren't as compatible as she had hoped, and that was fine. She still loved her, she had no hard feelings against her. Stephanie would
Isn't that crazy that you realize that somebody's personality is like not really like for you, that maybe you're not meant to be besties, and that's totally okay. And so she was just like, "Ah, damn, that kind of sucks, but I'm moving on." I wish more people did that on the internet now. We have a minor like mismatch of personalities and we got to make a Google Doc that's 15 pages to 200 pages about it.
later on form a friendship with Nick, and he made her feel like she could tell him anything. He had made her feel very comfortable. Anytime she'd have something she was awkward about or felt weird about, he would tell her, no, don't worry. I also feel the same way.
Thank you for the tier 3 sub. I appreciate you.
She truly felt weird about, he would tell her, no, don't worry. I also feel the same way. She truly felt like she had found a kindred spirit in the mukbang community. To really emphasize just how much she trusted him and felt comfortable around him, she told him something that she doesn't usually tell anyone, which is the fact that she had gotten SA'd a couple years ago. This level of comfort allowed her to vent to him freely. She told him about how her experience with Veronica was exhausting, how she cared more about dyeing her hair pink than collabing together, how she had to drive her around town just to find a hairstylist that would do it. In her mind, it was just an innocent little vent. In Nick's mind, it was a content goldmine, another video with 1 million views that made him look good.
So I want to be clear here because I think now there's this kind of like blending of like if you ever say anything about your frustration with somebody or anything like that, then like, oh, it's just valid that it can be public information. There's a difference between like the friendship you have as a content creator online, on the videos, on the streams, whatever, and your like personal friendships and the things that you would say there, right? And so when you feel like someone is your personal friend, you're willing to vent to them about a situation with another content creator because you feel like you are venting to a friend confidentially. And it is weird to take that conversation and want that to be content if you had like, you know, if you have a friend that you trust that you're talking about a personal situation with. That's how that works. It's a weird like blending of boundaries, and unfortunately people have gotten worse and worse at that, in my opinion, as a content creator. I see it all the time where people get worse and worse at understanding about when it's like a conversation between friends and when it's like business and content stuff. This was so weird.
So in 2019, Nick would come to LA to collab with both Stephanie Sue and another very big ASMR mukbanger by the name of Zach Choi. Stephanie would argue that Nikocado is a manipulator, that he had made her feel comfortable around him, and then as soon as he saw an opportunity, he struck. To justify this, Stephanie would use definitions such as gaslighting in juxtaposition to what she was talking about. The whole idea here is that he wanted to manipulate her in order for her to talk or quote unquote spill the beans about Veronica on his channel while they were filming his mukbang video.
No, it's spill the tea, sis. Not the beans. It's the tea, girl. Get your lingo right, Muujin.
He kept pressuring her in a very weird and pushy, awkward way in front of the camera, and she would do her best to react to it while deflecting to the best of her ability.
You want to share? Or do you change your mind now?
I just feel like
You
maybe,
said you wanted to talk to your viewers with me here, but because you never talked to any of your viewers.
and I just remember feeling just shocked because the way
The important thing to note here is that half of Stephanie was confident she had never told him she wanted to talk about it in public, and the other half was being gaslit so hard that she didn't even know whether to believe herself or Nick. Anytime she would try to kind of awkwardly move on from the topic, he would visibly be angry, and to her, that made her panic and be very uncomfortable because before the filming of this video, this dude was one of her closest friends in mukbang. They would film 2 videos that day, and they still had a third one to film the next day. She couldn't really sleep. She was having panic attacks. That was the whole point of this footage you saw in the beginning of the video.
Yeah, which without context looked insane. Like, again, I do think that Nikocado Avocado was weird as f***. I think she's valid for her feelings. I think it's fine. Putting this in the beginning of the video with no context was absolutely insane. I just want to, like, as a bit of criticism, that was insane.
Applied something way worse, but it was just her partner calming her while she was crying. So she woke up very late, around 3 p.m, and let both Zach and Nick know that, hey, listen, I can't make it. I'm really sorry, but I'm really glad we were able to film some things yesterday. There's one thing I want you to really remember here. It's her saying, I've been in and out of sleep all afternoon after staying up late after getting back. The phrase in and out of sleep, all right? Keep that in mind. By that point, while she was sleeping, Nick had called her repeatedly, multiple times, and he was pissed at the fact that she just now messaged him, saying that he's been sitting there for 5 hours, and that when she was going in and out of sleep, she should have picked up her phone and called. He does not understand, even adding you didn't like it when Veronica did that to you, further hinting that he wanted her to talk about this publicly and that she was no better than someone she complained about. She again apologizes profusely. She's very...
I think in that situation, it is fair to say that, like, you know, that was rude. If he was waiting 5 hours past the time that they were supposed to be doing something and she didn't message or say anything at all, I think it is fair to be like, hey, that was like... However, like, comparing her to somebody else and bringing that up again with context is really, like, kind of manipulative and weird. But I guess what it is like, I want to say, like, in that situation, it's not outside of the realm of, like, normal that you would be like, could you have, like, messaged me before 5 hours? You know what I mean? But yeah, it's super manipulative way to talk about it.
Sorry, she really can't state this enough. I mean, look at all this text, man. It's crazy. But Nick was not having any of it. He just said, I've messaged you privately. And she argues that he just wanted to isolate her from Zach. She kept apologizing, and then there was this weird thing where Nick completely flipped the switch and it seemed like he was in a different personality state. She proposed to do it again while he was still in LA because he was leaving soon, and Nick just said, awesome. So which day would you like to reschedule for? While this was happening, he had posted an Instagram post saying, I'm this effing close to making an exposing video, should I? What the F is wrong with people? So rude and so inconsiderate. Then
that is crazy. That is crazy to say. Like, that is like such a like subtweet ass threat. That is so like, no, because it's also like very specifically not saying if it's about Stephanie Sue or about the other girl, Veronica Wang, or if it's about something else. Like, that's so
posted on a story, making some tea, you guys. You won't believe the audacity people have, but I have a lot of receipts and audio clips. So at this point, he was so drama hungry that he was ready to create drama with just about anyone that he had any issue with, putting their career on the line and making it seem like it was all one big game. This isn't just him playing a character anymore, this is him putting other people's careers in jeopardy just because he was lacking bombshell content. And even worse, he was a straight up bully. Remember the phrase in and out of sleep? He would just straight up post this on his Instagram story with no context. It was just an inside joke between him and his friends, referencing Stephanie Sue's message. He would tag all his friends right here. You have Trisha, because they made up afterwards, Eric the Electric, Orlin, and a bunch of other big mukbangers that were his friends. Even worse, he would start to mention it in his videos.
Yeah, it's very like, oh, hey, Stephanie Sue, know that me and all of my friends and a lot of your peers are all making fun of you. We're making fun of you. I've told them the situation, and you are a joke. You are the butt of our joke. Like, that's such crappy, like, nasty high school ass behavior. And I do want to say, like, as somebody who's been considered like a drama farmer as part of my like YouTube journey, I don't know if you would still consider me that. I'm more of a reactor now. I think that there's a very big difference between talking about the behaviors that other people show and other people's stuff and like purposely creating issues to have content. Like, that's like something that I just don't personally understand. I don't think drama is fun or interesting or good content when it involves you. You know what I mean? I personally don't think there's wrong about talking about situations as long as you're being like relatively respectful and like, talking about it in full. But like when you go to the point where you're like, oh, there's no other people drama. Let me make personal drama for myself and bother other people and like make problems for other people. Like, that's just so up. It's very unethical. And it is like very like content goblin. Like, I hate that kind of thing.
I was telling them a story about someone who, something happened, someone did something to me, and there was just a lot that broke my spirits. And I was telling them the story, and one of the inside joke from that story was in and out of sleep. And you don't understand, but then I told a few other YouTubers, I tagged them on Instagram, as well as my friends, and they all know. I was like, they know the story, and
Ew.
The major thing that they take away from that was the in and out of sleep. In and out of sleep.
I've just been in and out of sleep, and I don't know what's going on, but I got things to do. I got things to do. Have you been in?
Let me post videos of more people making fun of you, Stephanie Sue. Let's do it. It'll be so funny, right? It's so funny and innocent. It's so funny and innocent and wholesome and not obviously mean-spirited and bullying and shitty.
In and out of sleep. Oh my gosh. In and out of sleep right now.
They're like, what the that is the most obnoxious, bizarre thing they've ever heard. Like, what the
Thank you for the resub, Arcade. It's been a while. What's poppin'?
In and out of sleep, we turned something that really bothered me into something that we can laugh about. When we were at the club, I'm telling you, I should have put this on YouTube. But also, I mean, it's just you have to laugh about things to get over things. That's just what I believe. Well,
which is like fair. Like, sometimes you make a joke about a situation. Like, there's a bit of a community joke that exists about oiling up, HexJuice oiled up, and then I oil up other people. That is a joke about something like really kind of that happened. And so like it made that funny. And so whenever it's mentioned now, it reminds me of like joking with my friends in my community rather than like the crappy thing. And I'm not going to explain that if you don't know about that. That's fine. But like, it is valid to joke about something crappy that happens to you, but not really so much like this just is like very obviously mean-spirited and making her like basically saying, I've already told everyone my side of the story and they all think that you're a joke. Because that's what's so devious about this is like, he's like, oh, well, it's just an inside joke about something that happened. But really like the machinations of this is like, I've already told everyone you know the story from my perspective and we're all making fun of you. You're a joke. Your side of this is a joke to us. You wrong, like it's taking away the ability to actually talk about it because everybody already has a formed opinion because he's already told them and we're making fun of you.
All four, well, it was us four plus the gay couple, the other gay married couple, and the girl and the gay guy. So it was all like 12 of us. We're all sitting together and we're like, in and out of sleep.
In and out of sleep.
In and out of sleep. In and out of sleep. And then the people around us, in and out of sleep. In and out of sleep. And
we're getting the whole club to make fun of your ass and they don't even know who you are.
Me and Honey started bawling with tears running down. We're like, oh my God, it was so funny. And we're like, in and out of sleep, in and out of sleep. Oh my God.
He's so crappy.
So I know that people these days are offended very easily, but here's the thing. Even if you were to go back to the Modern Warfare 2 lobby days where anything could have been said, I think if you were to be in high school or college back then and you had something like this happen to you, it would still be considered bullying.
Yeah.
Stephanie had felt uncomfortable around Nick. She gave an excuse the next day that she was in and out of sleep, that she couldn't really...
I'm stopping him in the middle of a sentence because I really want to say this. I personally would rather be called a slur in an Overwatch lobby than that. I don't know if you guys agree. I would much rather be called a slur in Valorant or something than have all of my peers, everyone I know, probably people I look up to, somebody I considered a friend, all collectively making fun of me in Instagram stories and videos and stuff. Like, I would rather that. I would rather the slur. Bring on the slur.
Sleep very well, that she couldn't make it. It happens all the time. And for him to take that phrase and not only spread it with his friends, but people in the mukbang community, people, influential people, and even mention it in his videos, that to me is the definition of bullying. And no, he can't just say this was a social experiment, this was a character. This is nasty. And as you can see from this right here, Stephanie actually ended up making merch that says in and out of sleep, and all the proceeds went towards stopping cyberbullying.
Slay.
Nikocado would reply with his own video called R.E. Stephanie Sue, released a week afterwards, and within the first 5 minutes it only made him look worse. One of the things that Stephanie...
What did I want to say? I think you can always argue for people's sensitivity, but it's also like understanding the context of how things affect people, and when you do it on purpose, you're still... You know, people always want to act like they're big and tough and they're not affected by anything. And like, if you were affected, if I would never be affected by that. If it was me, I wouldn't even care, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you would. You was crying in high school because of some shit like that. And I know it was true. Most of y'all have had some stuff happen where it hurt your feelings, even if it wasn't like the most severe, insane shit possible. Okay. That was very intentional and it was crappy. And like, I can't stand that shit where it's like, ooh, yeah, no, I would never be affected by that. Nah, you was crying in high school for some similar, or you had that shit happen in your workplace as an adult and it hurt your feelings. Your feelings are hurtable. You are not steel. And that was very intentional and purposeful. Like, I'm making fun of this person publicly with all of the people that she probably works with.
Was alleging was that he impeded on the privacy of her own home by taking pictures without her knowing when she went to the bathroom. She saw this on her camera feed, but couldn't really show it because it went against California state laws. Nick had shown that no, he never impeded on her privacy. He took a picture with her there. Everything was fine. You'll see later why that was not the case.
Oh.
He then said that no, actually, I wasn't gaslighting anyone. Stephanie told me that she wanted to talk about Veronica publicly. He showed this message in August of her saying that she'd like to make a documentary of her to show the world that Veronica wasn't really that bad of a person. That even though she had struck Shookbang, people went way too hard on her. She really emphasized the fact that she wanted this to be drama-free. This is what Nikocado was talking about when he told her, but you wanted to spill the tea, but you wanted to talk about this. Why don't you want to talk about this on my video right now? But she had...
Isn't that so interesting? How it's like a completely different context than the way that he misconstrued it. Interesting.
It clearly told him by December that she didn't want to talk about it anymore, that this documentary was off the table. She changed her mind. He also says how he doesn't even like her, how he has to deal with her because that's typically what you do in a job. To him, mukbang and collabs are just like having an office job. You sometimes have to work with people you don't like.
That's true.
It was a very shocking contrast with what Stephanie had said, that she considered him a very good friend to her, that she felt like she was safe with him. A few days later, she made a video called How Nikocado Manipulated All of Us on her main channel, and this is when she would destroy his reputation once and for all.
She's so pretty, can I just say? Sorry, she just looks really pretty here.
I'd say one of the biggest bombshells here is the fact that Zach Choi, who usually avoids drama, assisted Stephanie here by showing her what he was being sent by Nick, as Nick was saying, awesome, so which day would you like to reschedule for? As he was sending this to her, 20 minutes before, he had sent this to Zach saying, I am exposing her tonight.
For what? Exposing what? That's insane. Ew. I did not remember a lot of this stuff. This shit happened so long ago, and I don't even know if I ever watched the second video. Exposing her for what?
This pretty much confirmed to her that the post he had made on Instagram saying, I'm gonna expose someone soon, was about her. She also argued that the picture he took in her home wasn't what they agreed on. He had asked her if he could take a picture of her light setup because he loved it. She didn't even know she was going to be in the picture. She didn't agree to this. And additionally, what's even worse is that he took a picture of her security setup. This is where she can see all the security cams in her house. This is something that you don't want to show to anyone who might have ill intentions towards her. She decided to say, screw the California laws. I'm going to show a picture of him taking pictures of my place when I was in the restroom, but blurred so that he can't sue me. It says,
damn, dude. And I also want to clarify, I don't know if Mujin's going to talk about this, but the reason that this was a really big deal for the record for her is because she had had someone break into her house that she did not know and sexually assault her. So like her privacy and her security was like incredibly important to her because she had had something just like unspeakably horrendous happen to her. And so that's why she has all of that security. That's why she has all of those cameras, is because that had happened to her. He knows this, which we've established she had told him, right? And so like, I just want to clarify that the reason that this is a big deal isn't just like general privacy stuff, but because she had something like incredibly horrifying happen to her at random. And so like all of those security measures are to try to prevent that from ever happening again, because it was just like unspeakably horrendous.
Nick is all alone while taking this pic. She would further prove that he's a hypocrite and a two-faced liar by showing the contradicting statements he made about meeting her for the first time in his R.E. Stephanie Sue video and in his videos beforehand. Watch.
This is not my fault. This is no one's fault but hers.
I think Stephanie's trying to capitalize on it. Remember what I said my first impression of Stephanie was? It was awesome. She was so nice. We went out to eat. We hung out for like 7 hours. She had like little gifts for me. She had like this nice little champagne and little snacks and a nice card. My first impression of Stephanie was very self-serving. I didn't give her a gift. We were just gonna hang out and get to know each other. That was my first impression. Like,
she gave me a couple thoughtful gifts and was like, oh, but she's really self-serving. I've never had nobody give me a gift on first meeting. And I definitely think they were selling, oh, they're really selfish for that. Like, what?
Warm and bubbly, gave me a hug, said hello. Very self-serving. Little welcome to Los Angeles gift for me. And I'm like, wow.
She seems like she would be a nice person.
Very.
So that's the truth.
So which one's the truth?
That's the thing. Which one's the truth? Again, is this a character he's playing? Who cares? The thing is, Nick was going up against people who are very easy to go up against. Veronica Wang, Trisha Paytas, they were both bigger content creators than him that were disliked in general. It wasn't hard to make them look bad. But this time he went up against someone that was way more than he could chew. He got backed into a corner and he couldn't do anything about it. He was essentially cooked. And while Nikocado Avocado as a brand was completely in the gutter now, all the work he had done to rebuild it by siding with the smaller creators and going up against the big bad guys was gone, I should mention that there were still people who criticized Stephanie Sue. A great example of this is Turkey Tom, with his video titled, "Stephanie Sue is lying to you, the truth about mukbang." And this wasn't clickbait, by the way. This whole video goes against her, that her Why I'm Scared of Nikocado Avocado video was staged. She wasn't actually crying. She actually posed for the thumbnail, "This never happens in the video." She's doing this for attention, etc, etc. I think it's important to showcase all the opinions during a conflict, especially where you might have thought that this was very one-sided. While it might seem like this video is absolutely crazy, it's not, because as we'll see later, one of the people involved in this incident agrees with him. But the reason why I'm mentioning Turkey Tom's video is because there's a small clip here that I totally and wholeheartedly disagree with. I'll explain, but first, watch.
A lot has happened, and it's been really stressful.
If you're not already a fan of Stephanie, seeing these videos makes her seem a lot more sympathetic. And as for her fans, they're already bound to agree with what she says, especially based on the fact that her audience is relatively young. Her video reached more than 3 times her audience, making it very easy to paint herself as a different person than she is normally. Nick, meanwhile, is, well...
Yeah.
The top of his head.
There's just no way of getting around the fact that Nick is overweight and constantly greasy. He doesn't come across as very attractive in his videos.
Look at his lips.
Oh my god.
He has multiple years cataloged on his channel of him behaving like a lunatic on camera, often throwing tantrums, crying, and appearing to be extremely unnerving to most viewers. This allowed Stephanie to take control of the narrative, merely based off of the fact that Nick is more outwardly weird. and has been involved in a lot of drama in the past. He was already basically a joke by the time that Stephanie's video was released. This made it all the more easy for her to accuse him of being a number of things that she didn't have proof for. And
So this clip makes Nikocado Avocado out to be a victim. That just because he didn't have pretty privilege, Stephanie was able to accuse him of a number of things and ruin his career. This is really interesting to me because it's almost like Tom is saying that he was forced to make these weird videos. No one forced him to make these videos. No one forced him to take advantage of his audience for so long, blurring the line between reality and fiction like he's done for a while now. Yes, he's known for being involved in drama, but he always made it to the top of the drama. He always was getting a net positive out of this drama until someone that can articulate words better, someone who actually keeps receipts, showed up and showed the world his true colors.
I think you could argue probably about like the intention and stuff of some of it, I guess. But arguing that she made claims that were completely unsubstantiated with the amount of like screenshots and proof and video and stuff is very weird. I also just I just really don't like Nikocado Avocado. It's not even like I have like this insanely like positive association to Stephanie Sue. I just really don't like Nikocado Avocado. But saying that it's like completely unsubstantiated, I feel like is a bit dishonest.
This was never about how he looked or how he spoke or how about his weird ass videos where he cuts his hair over noodles and eggs. This was over his actions towards another YouTuber trying to make content out of someone else's career. But I will...
Anybody who had a video like this made about them would be f***ed, to be clear. It wouldn't matter if they look like Nikocado Avocado or Stephanie Sue or anyone. Anyone who had a video like this made about them, like, and somebody's saying the things that they said about them would be cooked. Like, on God. You know? they would be very much like it would be a problem for anybody. Does it help that Nikocado Avocado is regularly a fool on the internet? Almost certainly not. I'm sure it made it a lot easier for people to believe that he was a person. But I think anyone would be cooked by a video like that because you have receipts.
I agree with Turkey Tom on one thing. It's that yes, Nikocado Avocado's appearance is almost comical, but that only served to help him here. There's this meme that went viral recently, okay?
Ew.
Where you see why I'm scared of Nikocado Avocado with Stephanie Sue literally on the brink of crying, and then on the bottom of the recommended you see our final video together mukbang, and I mean, the thumbnail speaks for itself. It's a disaster. What I'm trying to say is that after this video blew over, after this whole drama blew over, people didn't really take her warning very seriously. I mean, are you kidding me? You're scared of this guy? Like, come on. This dude...
Yeah. I actually don't think that this is proving the point you think you're making, Boojin. Are you scared of this guy? Yes, I'm terrified. What the f is this?
Dude that eats all day, that speaks like a comic book character, that is completely out of his mind. Come on. To look intimidating and scary, to make me really kind of understand your viewpoint that he's manipulative, he would have to lose a lot of weight. He would have to look like this. In any case, this is probably the biggest turning point in Nikocado Avocado's entire career thus far. By this point, he understood how this game worked. There was no recovering from this. He had messed with someone that he shouldn't have messed with. He completely overestimated just how much he could turn things around and lost miserably. He was now officially the villain. And he played that role very easily because that's what he was essentially doing before getting into drama with other YouTubers. But just like everything with Nick, he needed to take it to the next level. And he took it to the next level, to the point where he started crossing lines that were never crossed before. This time, not taking advantage of himself and Orlin exclusively, not taking advantage of other YouTubers, no, he was done with that for the most part, but taking advantage of his most loyal audience members in some incredibly unethical theatrics.
I wonder what's going to be in this section. I sure do wonder. We're only halfway through this video. I want y'all to know that. Y'all getting bored? Y'all awake? Y'all here? We are only halfway through this video. I'm on second monitor now. I just know it. I just know we're on that second monitor. So put a 1 in chat if you're really if you really think that Nikocado Avocado is like a cool guy, and put a 2 in chat if you're absolutely horrified for what we're about to see, because it only gets worse from here. I want y'all to know that. Oh my God, no way. The rest of this video is insane. The rest of this video, I just know it because everything he does after this point gets crazier. It gets worse. Like every single second, it gets worse. It's insane.
Losing the public image war against Stephanie Sue changed Nikocado Avocado forever. This could be seen with a video uploaded on his main channel called Nikocado Vegan Days vs. Now, just a few weeks after this whole drama had blown over. In it, you could see a direct comparison of how he used to be healthy on his vegan diet and how he is today, very unhealthy and overweight. Many people were confused at first because it seems like it was uploaded by someone else, not him, like a fan channel or someone concerned for his health.
Yeah.
The description of this video doesn't seem like it was written by him. It goes like this. He deleted old footage and clips. Nobody's seen these videos before until now. This is Nikocado Avocado back in the vegan days versus now. Has Nikocado Avocado changed? Was he healthy? Was he attractive? Was he skinny? If you look at...
This is insane to say. Maybe this is like a content creator take. This strikes me very much as trying to hit as many of the questions you would put into YouTube about him as possible with keywords. Like trying to make it so that anybody who ever Googles, like whoever searches any of those questions on YouTube always get that video. I don't know. I think that's kind of how the keyword works, which is like honestly kind of really smart. If I'm gonna be real, but also really bizarre to like expose yourself like this, you know?
Him then versus now, you can clearly see his weight gain and him getting fat. He's fat. He's got fat. Nikocado is getting fat. And Nikocado has weight gain and weighing himself on the scale. He is full of drama now and people are saying he's crazy. He's having mental breakdown and lots of fights with Orlin. He is getting divorced. People search Nikocado and Orlin fight because they are fighting and crying. He is always having mental breakdown. He's very crazy and unstable. He hopes people keep making videos to bring awareness to the social experiment.
Social experiment!
What is happening to innocent, sweet Nick? This was written on January 23rd, 2020. This first mention of a social experiment. There are many reasons why he could be doing this, saying that it's a social experiment. It could be used as a crutch, very similar to the pranksters that used to be popular back in like 2016, 2017 on YouTube, that used to do these borderline illegal pranks, and then when people got mad at them, they would claim, oh guys, don't worry, it's just a social experiment. As far as I can tell from it.
Yeah, I f***ed your mom sideways and I cummed inside her and I ejaculated inside her and I got her pregnant. I fertilized her. It was just like a social experiment, bro. Don't be so sensitive. Clearly you didn't understand my social experiment when I cummed in your mom.
This content on YouTube, this was the first mention of a social experiment. But this wasn't enough to excuse his terrible actions that he would do to take advantage and manipulate his audience later on. As literally anyone would have guessed, his weight gain would come with massive consequences. This is an aspect he couldn't fake. Whether this was actually a character or a real person, it didn't matter. The weight was real. That's the only thing people knew was real. Now, Nikocado would probably frame this as...
That was real. That was real. You know, I think Jake Paul is trying to pretend he got fat. You guys seen that? I guess the reason that this is coming to me in this like very, you know, ADHD sort of squirrel kind of way is because you could definitely tell when it's not real fat. Because this is insane, because apparently he got so fat and he worked so hard that he worked his nipples off. This is very clearly a prosthetic. He worked so damn hard his nipples fell off, but it's very clearly a prosthetic. You can see like the way that it bends is not skin. So yeah, that's just so you know, this is a skin. This is prosthetic. This is a prosthetic. This is a prosthetic. This is a prosthetic. This is not real. This is not real. This is a prosthetic. It's a bit. This is a bit. You can literally see his arm skin next to the fake skin. You can see how it doesn't look the same. There's a reason. There's a reason for that. Yeah, it's fake. Why did he do that? I don't know, man. I have no idea. But I guess the point is to say that, yeah, this is how you could tell that this was real, because you could see it when it's not when it's a fat suit usually.
As, oh, people just wanted to see my downfall. They hated me. They watched me purely out of hate. But the truth is, most people wanted to see him finally lose weight and stop this lifestyle. And they were hoping that once the health issues would start to surface, it would finally be a wake-up call. They were so disappointed to find out that this would be no big deal for Nick. He didn't care. He talked about it in the most nonchalant way possible, almost to the point where he was ridiculing it. As far as I could tell, this was one of the first instances where Nikocado Avocado would tell his audience that he's diabetic. And words cannot describe how he took advantage of the situation. You have to watch it yourself. So go ahead, watch.
Go off.
Oh, by the way, I went to the doctor the other day.
This, oh, the
I do have.
Oh my god, what the I cannot. Okay, first of all, crazy screenshot. Second of all, I can't stand the lip smacking dude. Whatever that thing is, where when you hear somebody making mouth sounds, you want to haymaker them. I have that. I cannot stand the lip smacking dude. I will end your. I can't in Minecraft, obviously, but man, the moaning and the lip smacking. Oh, I'll kill you. Oh, get your ass. Oh, I hate that shit so bad. I hate that.
The beatus.
The beatus.
I know a lot of people.
Dude,
were kind of worried for me. They're like, people have been noticing change. So, you know, first of all, there's some signs, my feet tingling, and constantly drinking water. Like, I have been self-proclaimed drinking a gallon of water a day. Click the link below to follow my Patreon. You'll get exclusive weekly.
This is a real clip. This is unedited. This is actually from the video.
That is diabolical. That is diabolical. That is diabolical. That is diabolical. That's crazy.
He actually is out here with a huge quantity of Popeyes, able to feed an entire family and more, talking about how he has diabetes, baiting people who care about his health into watching, and then halfway through him explaining, you see an advertisement for his Patreon. Can we take a step back here to really process this? Imagine anyone else doing this. Imagine Boogie2988 right now going on stream saying, I have diabetes.
My peanuts hurt because I jerked it too hard. Subscribe. You can be a member on my YouTube channel. I really need the money because my peanuts hurt from jorking. Subscribe to my Twitch channel. I jorked my peanuts too hard and now I really need money for the doctor. Please, 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 please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
And then immediately cutting into an advertisement. This is how he would take advantage and manipulate his audience, but this is one of the many examples. Even worse, he would start making fun of his condition, making it seem like he was a survivor. Like, look at this video. What I'm eating as a diabetic survivor uploaded to his third channel. He would sit there and eat a massive, ridiculous amount of food and
that's nothing but carbs! That's literally nothing but carbs, dude! And a Sprite. Like, I'm a diabetic survivor. I'm gonna do nothing but carbs and sugars, which carbs are sugars as well. So like, oh my God.
Would label it as him having his diabetic survivor diet. It wouldn't be that crazy to suggest that people who cared for him started to hate him, right? He would continue to embellish everything about his personality. He would become louder, crazier, weirder, and the lines between reality and fiction would blur so much that he would, quite frankly, become a caricature. He'd have these outbursts where he would randomly cry as soon as a piece of food falls, like this right here.
We're eating pop.
But this.
Okay, but like me. But like, you know when you're having a bad day and you like drop your fork during dinner and you're like, I've had enough of being alive. Do you ever have that? Like you just like, you're overstimulated, like you've had a bad day, your anxiety's super bad, everybody's been annoying the out of you, bad day at work, whatever. And like the most minor inconvenience. And I'm like, this is not worth it anymore. Like, I understand how absurd this is. But like, I guess if we could have a relatable moment, you know, when you have a bad day and a minor inconvenience makes you feel like life is not worth it. Because I get you. We're relating right now. Let's get a parasocial relationship going on.
This wasn't limited to just him, of course. He would go back to his days of 2017 to 2018 and recycle content in which he would include Orlin in his antics. But this time, just like everything else, he would up the stakes. And it was way more dramatic. There are 3 videos with the title We Broke Up, all of them having the same thumbnails. Here's another 3 with the same idea. Nick crying like an idiot, and even a third one with Orlin on his own YouTube channel saying he's cheating on Nick. Another video of him saying they broke up. Oh, what's this? An entire playlist of them breaking up and fighting? 78 videos?
What? That's the craziest farm I've ever seen. 78 videos? That's wild. That's almost a quarter of all of the videos on my entire YouTube channel. You understand that? I think I just got to like 400 uploads. That is almost a quarter of my whole channel just on divorcing your husband. Insane.
At this point, people had realized that Nick wasn't the only one who was gaining weight. It was also Orlin gaining a lot of weight. The audience had come to the conclusion that these bad habits that Nick had rubbed off on Orlin in a very bad way. This is a significant accusation, right? This is someone's life, their entire health, their lifespan depends on this. And
that's so much nacho cheese. I'm diabetic. I'm gonna eat 4 large fries. I think that's mac and cheese and mozzarella sticks. Like, the diabetic struggle is real, I guess. It's like a whole, like, how much cheese is that? That's so much.
instead of clearing this up, they only add—
That is cheese dip. That's just cheese. No, this one in the back. No. Not this one. This one's obviously, I mean this one. I was asking if this was mac and cheese. I get that this is just cheese. I was trying to guess what this is. I have no idea what that is. That's corn. So also a carb. No way. So it's just pure carbs, and I mean, you could argue that this is not a carb. This is like fats and a little bit of a small amount of protein, I guess. Jesus.
Added more fuel to this fire. Now there are like 20 videos of them breaking up, but in this one, a clip went viral in particular because Orlin said this, and people took it very seriously, worrying for him. Watch.
I keep on fondling with this brightness. I can't be perfect. Yeah, just like you always tell me I'm not perfect. You turn the brightness up. I'm never perfect. You always say that I'm not perfect. I'm never perfect enough. You're so mean. Well, I'm never good enough. I even ruined my fucking body. You ruined my life. You ruined my life. Did I really ruin your life? Yes, you did. You did. You ruined my life. I used to be so happy. It's all their thoughts. Not their food. Stop it. Don't make a mess because then I'll have to clean it.
I mean, what is this? Is this—
You know what? This is giving first time improv. This is giving very like yes and energy. This does not seem real at all to me. Like, what is this? Who is believing this? There's no way anybody thought this was legit.
really mukbang at this point? No, this is just a really bad reality TV show. The only problem was that there was no disclaimer showing off that this was indeed a reality TV show. When you watch something like Keeping Up with the Kardashians on TV, you already know the cameras are trying to record a specific narrative. The people in there don't really care. This wasn't made by a television channel. There was no disclaimer, no way to know that this is all fiction or acted up. I mean, even—
I think the way that you know is that you've probably never in your entire life seen somebody act like this. And granted, there's like, I'm sure there's behaviors that you've seen that are sort of unbelievable, but like legitimately you have never seen anyone act anything similar to this ever in your life. That's probably how you know. But again, like I'm looking at it with like the hindsight bias, right? Like I already know that this shit fake, but like I had seen a lot of these clips and I also assumed they were fake at the time because like these circulated every so often when they were really bizarre or like, you know, Moist Critical or whoever decided to talk about them. But like, I don't know how you're looking at this and being like, yes, this is 100% real. None of this is played up at all or not legitimate.
even if it was acted up, why the hell would you sit with someone you love and have them act out that you ruined their lives? Why would you be so specific with what's making you cry? People were very worried for Orlin, especially longtime viewers, because if you guys remember, Nick would sit there and cry when he was skinnier, saying that Orlin had very bad thoughts about taking his life and how he could die at any moment because he had a very rare autoimmune disease. And now you were seeing him crying about not being good enough and having gained a lot of weight. What does that say for longtime viewers? This was getting dangerous, and it wasn't even funny anymore. But by this point, people didn't even know what to believe anymore. They had broken up like 30 times. Like at a certain point, it just gets redundant. Viewers were also tired of being blamed for their mistakes when no one was forcing them to eat this crazy amount of food so often. But others were also concerned, why is Orlin still there if he's so unhappy? This video was in 2022. Here's another video back in 2021.
Ooh, wow. They really turned up the, what is that? As contrast, redness on the faces. Man, this looks insane, dude. Holy.
Before it, where he says the same exact thing. So let's watch.
You're not sorry. You're not sorry. You're never sorry. You don't mean what you say. You're a piece of garbage. You're not sorry. You're not. You ruined my life. You ruined my life. You're not sorry. You're never sorry. You never change.
I'm gonna be real. I know that you can always see my voice, so like obviously the facial expressions is part of this. I'm gonna be 100% with you. I think I could give a more convincing performance right now. That's just giving somebody trying to make themselves cry. Like I can't believe that people like really thought that this was like legit. Like if you like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like I'm not sorry. Like it's just like, I don't know. Maybe again, I'm looking at this with like hindsight bias, but like none of this ever seemed legitimate to me. I kind of assumed that it was all this like ass character. I didn't understand why he decided to do it, but I didn't think any of this was like 100% real.
Word for word, you ruined my life, crying about it. It was the same pattern. But man, it was getting views. 7.8 million.
Money.
Most YouTubers can only dream of getting half of this on a video. Many thought that this was just a toxic relationship that they were.
I think I've gotten... I don't even think I've gotten like none of... That's a lot of views, dude. Holy.
Were witnessing that could end at any moment. But the more you look into this, the more you understand this is nothing more than a dog shit reality TV show.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, explain this title. Screaming at Orlin and being mean to him. Who else can get away with this on YouTube?
What the? That's insane. What the?
I'm sorry. This only works because they're a gay couple and they're two men. Imagine if Nick was a man and Orlin was a woman. No one would let this pass. No one would even dare watch the video. Everyone would be reporting it and people would be all over him. Every video made about Nikocado at this point was talking about his health and the fact that he was close to death due to his obesity. No one was mentioning how bad and toxic this relationship was. I mean, look at how uncomfortable these interactions are. Look at this clip right here.
Stop giving yourself projects.
He's just recording him crying. Like, what's the point in all this?
Well, I have to do my intro.
This person is not crying. This person is not legitimately crying. This person is not legitimately crying. This person is not crying. He's not crying. He's not really crying. This is fake. This is so fake. Look at... Leave me alone. Like, like, come on.
I can't.
Go make your intro.
There was no indication that this was a joke, that this was staged, that this was exaggerated. Because again, at this point the lines were blurred so much between reality and fiction that this was nothing more than a caricature. People didn't see Nick as a human anymore. His eyes were devoid of any emotion. People didn't think that he could feel anything like empathy or sympathy or just basic human emotions anymore. They saw him as a manifestation of both greed and gluttony, incapable of being able to stop himself from stuffing his face every single day while worrying about views and money. And the only person to blame was himself.
Yeah.
Regardless, this would go viral. People would be sharing clips and making compilations that would get millions and sometimes tens of millions of views of them fighting, especially where Orlin puts Nick in his place, because in many people's minds, Orlin was the good guy who was dragged into this against his will, and Nick was the villain. Here's an example of a clip.
If you were a food, you would probably be like, I don't know, Popeyes?
I'm trying something I've never had before, which is the crap.
What the why is he wearing a CPAP machine? Why the is he wearing a CPAP machine, bro? What the? No, it's a CPAP. That's a CPAP. What that is it's like if you have sleep apnea. So interestingly, as part of this story, let's be real. Let's remember what this is, okay? The story is that he has gotten so fat that he now has sleep apnea, which causes you to stop breathing at night. He's wearing that CPAP machine while doing mukbang content for absolutely no reason. That is for when you sleep. It's not an oxygen mask. That's a CPAP machine for when you have sleep apnea. So let's note that this is a video probably demonstrating that he has sleep apnea now because he's so fat, because it's really common among overweight people.
Huh? A salad? Huh? Ever since I became a mukbanger, insomnia, sleeping issues, like I'll be up till 7 a.m. sometimes.
Because you can't breathe, because you have sleep apnea, because you're so fat.
It's
Oh.
I really want to emphasize, even though people found this entertaining, they still wanted to see a redemption arc. They still wanted to see them get better and healthy. But it was very hard to keep thinking that way after something that Nick had done that would be crossing the line. Yes, even after all this, he would still cross yet another line, which most people wouldn't even dare to do because of how unethical it is.
I love finding lines to cross, I guess. Like, what the? Oh my God. I remember this! Oh, I remember this. This was insane.
He would upload a video called I Had a Heart Attack on Camera on his second channel, More Nikocado. As you can see, this is the thumbnail, him eating a lot of food, sitting there, fatter than he has ever been, all in the effort to make it as dramatic as possible. This made people concerned and want to click on it to see, is this finally going to be his wake-up call? Is he finally going to start losing weight since he almost lost his life? Well, as you can guess from the like to dislike ratio, people were very disappointed. Watch.
Orlin? I really need to get in here. Click the link below and get yourself a cameo.
Whoa! You better stop. You better stop. Again? That's insane. That's insane. He started promoting his Patreon in the middle of his heart attack.
Special video just for you. Treat yourself or surprise.
Oh, no, his
This
cameo.
is not edited. This was real. The guy had baited people who hated him and people who still cared about him after all these years into clicking this video only for him to shill his cameo. In the middle of his quote-unquote heart attack, he just puts this and just pretends like everything's okay. I ask you this question again. Imagine any other YouTuber does this. Would their head not be on a pike? But with Nikocado, unfortunately, people came to expect this from him. They didn't see him as a human being anymore. The guy was a walking caricature with zero emotions.
Guys, I think I'm having a heart attack. I have to go to the hospital. But first, could you please subscribe to my Twitch stream? Subscribe now for all of my emotes. No ads on Twitch. And you can also subscribe for free with Prime. I need an ambulance.
After the advertisement and Orlin showing up, he explained this in the dumbest way possible. He says that it's probably the peas in this dish and that's why he had chest pain. And then Orlin does whatever the hell he's doing here on his shoulders. I mean, already people were very pissed, saying, please don't.
I mean, honestly, peas are real bad, so I'll probably die too. That's my least favorite food. Fun fact about me. I hate peas. But like, oh God, I had peas. But before we get into that, please make sure next time you order from Gamer Subs, you use code HexJuice at checkout for 10% off your next order. It supports me and you get a delicious product. Gamer Subs forever. Oh, the peas.
Say you had a heart attack if you didn't. Stop faking terrible things. It's disgusting. But this wasn't enough. He needed to milk this some more. Are you surprised? Because at this point, I don't think anyone is.
Take it for the primer. 5 out of 10 performance, though. Well, it's about as good as Nicocado's Avocado. So I feel like that means it's really good and also worth millions of dollars. I could do better. I pretended to cry on stream before, and it's pretty decent. I honestly shocked myself. I could really sell that, but I'm choosing not to. But no, I could manipulate you if I wanted to. Just be aware of that at all times.
On his third channel, he uploaded a video called I Deleted the Spark from My Heart Attack on Camera. And it was nothing more than him talking about the video, still sat there, this is the same recording, talking about it. And before you know it, within the first minute, here you go again, cameo.com, Nikocado Avocado, guys. Hey, book me for a little video. Trying to get as much exposure as he can from people who actually cared about him, and then continuing on with his mukbang like nothing had happened. Nikocado would continue to—
Oh wait, he didn't even— insane. He didn't even continue on to actually like pretend to have a heart attack. My new diet as a disabled person with a CPAP machine is insane, dude. This is insane.
Gain more weight,
Jesus
and with
Christ.
his weight came more health problems that he would of course make content out of in the most annoying way possible. At some point, he was diagnosed with sleep apnea, which meant that he couldn't breathe properly while sleeping. The cure for that is to wear a mask while sleeping so that you can actually properly breathe and get proper rest. As soon as he can, he would start using this mask in his videos for content, and of course, the videos would be called something like, My New Diet as a Disabled Person.
This is such an odd form of content and such a bizarre choice. I wonder if there is a reason that he is showing off and demonstrating the ways that getting fatter is causing him disabilities and causing him physical and personal harm. I wonder, because that's such an odd decision. I wonder if there's a reason for that.
This mask would actually start showing up a lot in his videos, for shock value, of course. Oh, and let's not forget about his merch store. He would start to have expressions he'd often repeat in videos, such as "I identify as skinny" or "It's just water weight," and the merch centered around those. His disability would reach new heights when he bought a scooter. He would have
That's so interesting. He is now so overweight that he has a hard time walking and needs a scooter. I wonder if there's a reason for that. I wonder if there's a reason he's making content out of that specifically and showcasing that very specifically.
segments where he
Seems odd.
rides it before certain mukbang videos and would use the whole "I'm disabled" excuse, while calling everyone peasants, of course. At some point while sleeping, he broke his ribs and, of course, proceeded to make a video out of it for content. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was off limits when it came to content for Nikocado Avocado. He would also play into exactly what his remaining audience wanted to see, like this video saying "how much I weigh now," which was a question on everyone's minds, and yes, he would weigh himself periodically.
I wonder if all of this is being used as content for a particular reason, because it definitely seems like an odd set of content for most normal people. I wonder.
But he, of course, wouldn't be done trying to use other people for his own content. Back when David Dobrik was at the top of YouTube before his big scandals, Nikocado made this video titled "David Dobrik Stole From Me The Truth, Panda Express Mukbang," in which he expressed that he was supposed to be David Dobrik, that David Dobrik has stolen his future because they look alike. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, but that was the kind of content he was making.
They look alike. Okay, yeah, no, they look just the same. I thought this was David Dobrik the whole time.
He would proceed to make a channel called Nikocado Shorts and would upload the same kinds of shocking comparison videos as to how he used to look and how he looks now, trying to bait more people to watch and interact with his channel by all means necessary. If we're going to talk about bait, his TikTok page was probably the biggest bait imaginable. He would put himself in the worst situations ever in order to just
I wonder if there's a particular type of very bizarre fetish content that is incredibly popular on TikTok and is a huge moneymaker for TikTokers who do that kind of content. I wonder if all of this is for a reason.
just get some sort of engagement.
I wonder if there are whole channels and TikTok lives that are dedicated to getting people off on this particular kind of content, very specifically on TikTok, very commonly.
Like, no one would actually sit there eating McDonald's the way he was if he wasn't seeking to get some sort of engagement. He knew what he was doing. There is, of course, an ulterior motive here, something way more sinister going at play, but we'll talk about that in the final part of this video. The shocking nature of his content and how weird it was to the average person prompted many bigger creators to start talking about him. Meat Canyon made an animated short of 3 minutes long with 24 million views titled King of Mukbang, which was an entire parody of who Nikocado is, drawing him as the caricature that everyone sees. And honestly, when I look at this, I think, yes, this is the person that appears in Nikocado Avocado's videos. This is meant to be
The follow-up to the After the Weight Loss one was really good as well, if you haven't seen the new Meat Canyon video about it.
caricature, but isn't Nikocado a caricature to begin with? Charlie would make a video about him as well with 16 million views, calling it "This YouTuber is slowly killing himself for views," talking about Nikocado, of course. Nikocado loved the attention so much that he replied to Charlie within 4 hours of him posting his video. It was ridiculous. He was loving this. This is exactly what he wanted.
I wonder why this content is so peculiarly about how fat he is and how gross he is. I wonder if there's a reason why none of his shirts ever fit, because I'm going to be honest, if I went on camera and my shirt didn't fit like that one time, I would have bought 15 new shirts. Throw those old shirts in the trash. Your belly's hanging out. I wonder if there's a reason for that, though.
Shortly after Charlie had made his video on him, Nikocado Avocado would come out with his famous 2 steps ahead monologue back when he was still severely overweight, saying that he's always 2 steps ahead, that this was the greatest social experiment he had ever done in his life, and that everyone watching him was nothing but just a bunch of ants that wanted entertainment so badly that only he could provide.
I don't know that. How many social experiments has he done? The greatest of his life. Is this not the only one? Like, what do you mean by that, first of all? And second of all, I don't care. I don't know. I'm a mastermind. No, you shit your pants like a lot of times, like many times you shit your pants. I don't care. You shit your pants 30 billion times and you're a mastermind kind of one time. You're a pants. You're not a mastermind.
To mention
Asmongold. baby, Baba Booey.
This signaled a sign that many people missed, like, oh my god, this was him hinting that he was going to lose weight one day, that this was nothing more than just a social experiment. Well, not really. There are a couple reasons to believe that this was never premeditated. It was just that at one point, while losing weight, it just became convenient for Nikocado to look back and think, wait, maybe I can tie it back together to the old video. One of those reasons is this. Atozi found a now privated video that was uploaded on Nikocado Avocado's Twitter, in which he was calling out the people calling his monologue of foreshadowing stupid. Watch.
I'm having a bad day. Hi, internet world. It's me, Nikocado Avocado. And let me tell you why I'm upset. It's actually your fault. Last month,
right,
YouTube video, and I said, I'm 2 steps ahead. My life on the internet is a big social experiment. And what was the result of making that video? Y'all believed it. You freaking believed it. Someone made a TikTok that got 57 million views. That says, Nikocado breaks character. Oh, I saw another one today, had 13 million views. Nikocado's played us all, he's an evil genius. Oh my god. I literally...
Anthrax, I totally am like cool if you like want to like think that this guy is like cool in any way. Just know this guy is super weird. And like if you're like thinking that this guy's like a hero or somebody that needs to be like praised for this behavior, that like really reflects oddly on you. And that's like fine. You can have your own opinion. This guy's a weirdo and is trying to pretend that he's like a mastermind. He's just a weirdo.
Literally typed that out. It's not even real. Does it look like I actually acted out gaining 250 pounds? Gaining 250 pounds? I just acted out. This is all just an act. Let me just rip off my fat suit. I can't believe my eyes. Uneducated and just easily tricked people are.
God, the belly, like the purposely bouncing the belly around while he talks is so foul.
This is so ironic that wasn't even real. Gaining weight for clicks and to fool people? Oh, trust me, you don't mean that much. I don't care about you that much. I really don't. I'm gonna waste 6 years of my life gaining weight to entertain you. I don't think so. He breaks character. We've all been played by this evil genius. Oh my god.
This is literally y'all like a couple weeks ago. This is literally y'all a couple weeks ago. This was you, and he's making fun of you retroactively from like 2020. Isn't that crazy?
God, I literally typed up a Batman monologue and read it on camera. I'm scared for society, actually. Y'all need to go to school, learn something. Think outside the box. Don't believe everything you're told, including from me. And yet y'all believed it. That's actually scary.
So did he make this video because he was too scared at the fact that too many people were catching on? He completely underestimated his audience because he truly saw them as ants? Or did he make it because he meant it? We will never know. That's the whole point. He always blurs reality with fiction. There's nothing that comes out of his mouth that's believable. Nothing. Not a single thing. He started his career as being an honest YouTuber. Now we genuinely don't know anything about him, and we will never know. But as you saw, this is one of the reasons why people think that he was just winging it, that this was never a foreshadowing or a genius plan. The second reason is this article I read in the intro of this video by Mel Magazine called "Who is the Real Nick Avocado?", where he would go on to say that it's all completely scripted. There's a lot of interesting things in this article. Let's go through it. Before we parse fact from fiction, we have to go back to the beginning. In my interview with Perry, he describes his early mukbangs as a big fuck you to the vegan YouTube community where he got to start making videos like the 10,000 calorie avocado challenge. When he left veganism in 2017, his audience was outraged. Most people who watched my channel were vegan, and they thought I was being immoral and unethical when I started eating meat, Perry tells me. So mukbang was kind of a middle finger, as in, I don't owe anything to these internet strangers. Better still, Perry realized he could turn that outrage into cold hard cash as he filmed himself eating fast food like McDonald's for the first time in years. Their hate caused the videos to spread, which gave me a huge boost and sent a lot of traffic to my channel, he explains. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Ever since, Perry has continued to learn how to use conflict as currency. In 2019, fellow mukbanger Stephanie Sue accused him of emotional manipulation during a collaboration video, posting videos like "Why I'm Scared of Nikocado Avocado" and "How Nikocado Manipulated All of Us" to YouTube. At the time, Sue raised the alarm after Perry encouraged her to gossip about another YouTuber. Perry tells me, however, that the entire feud was orchestrated to benefit both his career and Sue's.
You know what's so Villainous about that is like it's impossible to know, you know? It is impossible to actually ever determine what is real because he has spent years muddying the waters of what is real and what isn't. It's like it's so insidious. It's so insane. Like it's like you legitimately can't know how much of that is real.
I reached out to Sue for comment but didn't receive a reply. We both knew that this would be the best thing for our careers, he says. Both of us got our names further out there than we ever thought possible.
I'm gonna be real that I don't really believe this. To be clear, I don't really believe this. I don't think this is true. I don't think this is like I think that the law like that it was real. However, the fact is that he's done so much muddying of the water that it's absolutely believable to think that it just was complete. Like it's like because most of what he does is so.
He describes the debacle as an opportunity to add onto his role as the villain, although he adds that he and Sue are no longer on speaking terms. I've taken the path of a train wreck because I know that's what sells, he says. That's what keeps people's attention. They like the shit show. I'm willing to be that villain because I know it will keep people talking. To that end, there's an entire cottage industry devoted to Nick Avocado cringe compilations.
Yeah.
So of course you have two major bombshells in this article that was written exactly 3 years before his massive weight loss reveal back in 2021. The first one was him acknowledging this was nothing more than a character, and the second one being that the whole feud between him and Stephanie Sue was fake. It was staged. But here's the issue. I don't think what happened with Stephanie Sue was staged.
Nope.
Things just don't add up. Even before meeting Nick, Stephanie Sue was very successful, and she still is today.
I really like her current content. I think her current content is a very good and natural evolution from where she started as a mukbanger. And I really like how she's like evolved her brand and everything. I think it's really cool. I always like when people make a shift in their original content to something different and they succeed in it. I think it's really interesting. But yeah, it's also like to further my brand as a villain. It's like at the time he wasn't really a villain. Like we established that he was well liked or more well liked, like less hated.
She runs a channel where she talks about some of the craziest crimes against humanity committed by other humans called Rotten Mango. And she of course has her personal channel where she uploaded mukbangs. And she has a third channel where she uploads vlogs. I don't think she needed this outrage to be able to make these things happen. Additionally, her audience is very different. Stephanie Sue is known to be honest. If she were to lie, especially on such a large scale, her entire career would be over.
Yeah.
There's only one Nikocado Avocado. There's only one person who can fake a heart attack, peddle their Patreon, and still have a career. She
Yeah, that shit was wild.
definitely doesn't fall in this category. There are other things that make this hard to believe as well. The way he prompted all his friends to start saying the phrase in and out of sleeping. The fact that someone like Zach Choi had to participate in this drama by sharing his text messages even though he hates drama and avoids it at all times. And hey, listen.
He doesn't even talk in his videos. The fact that somebody who literally does not speak in his videos like at all, I don't think he talks like ever. Does he ever talk in his videos? The whole point of his videos is it's him eating silently. It literally says silence is golden. And he ended up in a drama is crazy. That's insane.
He did not need the growth. Look at his sub count. He has more subs on his channel than all of Nick's channels and all of Stephanie's channels combined. So why is this so significant? Well, it's simple. If he's lying about this, then what's to tell me that he's saying any truths in this entire article? How far will he take this character to lie in an article as well, in an interview with a magazine? I mean, is it really that hard to believe that he would do something like this? As I mentioned already, it's very hard to believe anything that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And I think even to this day, after all the weight loss, most people still don't know the real truth behind Nikocado Avocado. The real unsettling truth behind his entire persona and why he continued doing the things he did for years before finally losing his weight. The truth of the matter was that YouTube was on the bottom list of his priorities. He couldn't care less. Mukbang wasn't even his priority anymore. But at the same time, he wasn't even making proper money from YouTube because most of his content was being demonetized, especially after the adpocalypse. Then of course, you'd think, well, Mugen, why was he going through all this effort? Why was he uploading almost every single day? Why was he making so much content? Well, it's simple. His YouTube channel was nothing more than a front, was nothing more than a way to recruit very specific people with deep pockets to none other than his adult content.
Finally finally get to talk about this. I'm so glad we finally get to acknowledge this part of this, okay? To a lot of you guys, this is probably shocking unless you already saw this video. Nobody talks about this. Nobody, like, almost ever talks about this. I am so glad we get to talk about this. This is the absolute key to understanding Nikocado Avocado's content from the beginning. From the beginning. And no one ever talks about this. And I'm so glad we get to talk about it. Dude, I'm so hyped. I'm like giddy because like this is so important to understand.
If you were to go to Nikocado Avocado's Patreon or even his privated Twitter account, you would see something glaring at you in both. This must be age 18 or older to follow this account. Patreon, all tiers are the same. Must be age 18 or older. But why? What's going on exactly? I thought you just ate food and was a fat, funny person. Well, you know, there's a lot of people finding out about Nikocado Avocado recently, especially after the weight loss, and a lot of people actually don't know that he has an OF account. And again, you see, must be at least 18 years of age. Now, his OF page is really interesting because it's never ever mentioned on YouTube. This is normal because it goes against YouTube's terms of service. You can't link any adult websites on YouTube. And yet, it was so extremely successful. And if you're an average person watching this video, you would be probably very confused. Who the hell would pay $15 a month to see this man naked?
Who indeed would pay money to see him naked to the point where he is in top 0.14% of all creators on that particular website?
Well, it's so much more complicated than that. To really understand, we have to go back all the way to 2017. Remember this video? I told you it was going to be important later. It's titled, I'm Getting Fat and I Don't Know Why. And the description is also kind of weird. Let's read. I've gained so much weight. How much weight can you gain in a day? How much weight can you gain in a week? I don't know the answer to these questions. It hasn't been enough worth mentioning. A few pounds here or there, so what? But now it's hit me hard. I'm getting fat and I don't even know why. My diet has been the same for the past 3.5 months, but the weight didn't come on until this week. What's the reason for this? Stress? Please help. I have no idea of what to do about this. Where do I even begin? I don't want to go back to ground zero with the whole vegan thing. It's my belief that vegan diets long term are terrible for the brain. Thanks for the help. Now, of course, you'd read this at first and think, oh, just typical shocking content. He doesn't actually care. But there's more to this. And there are multiple possibilities here. Let's talk about them. The first possibility is that he uploaded this knowing full well what it's going to do and what it means. The second possibility is that Orlin encouraged him to do this because he was into it. The third possibility was that he had no idea what this would do and only found out afterwards. What am I talking about? Fat fetishism. A sexual attraction directed towards overweight or obese people due primarily to their weight and size. Now, typically, this is associated with a couple of words. A feeder or a gainer. A feeder is someone who encourages someone else to get weight, and it really is a very pleasurable thing for them.
And also, again, I want to be clear, not a lot of people understand this. This is a very popular kind of low-key fetish content that exists specifically on TikTok. Specifically on TikTok lives. And do with that cursed knowledge what you will. I'm a collector of cursed knowledge. It's one of my favorite hobbies, if not my favorite. But yeah, this is an incredibly popular form of low-key fetish content that exists on specifically TikTok and TikTok lives. Yeah.
While a gainer loves being encouraged to gain weight and just loves the whole aspect of gaining weight, and again, it's very pleasurable to them. If a gainer were to watch a video like this, especially with the angles that he was using, I mean, look at the most replayed right here, right? Like,
oh God, the most replayed is just him pinching his fat. And again, this is like, it's called body checking. Like, this is a very particular behavior. Like, this is a behavior that is like, it's not just feeders. Like, this is something that's like really, really, really talked about a lot in like eating disorders and stuff like that. But this is like, this is a particular behavior that has a name. This is called body checking. He made a whole video of body checking. That's suspicious. That's weird.
Especially with these angles, they would be very much into it, let's just say. But why? Well, let's go to a gainer community, the one on Reddit. The most upvoted posts are progress pictures, are comparisons of how people used to
Yes, and again, this is like this originate like a lot of this stuff I know about, like this concept of these progress pictures and body checking, because it's really popular. Like it comes from like eating disorder stuff, because like I used to work with people with eating disorders, and so like this is literally like they're body checking their progress on getting fat.
Look and how they look now, from skinny to fat. That is their favorite thing. One of the most fundamentally pleasurable aspects of being a gainer/feeder. There's a post right here, one of the most upvoted on this subreddit, titled, "What's happening to me?" says the person, shocked. And in the pictures, on the left, you can see someone very skinny, and on the right, someone almost as obese as Nikocado Avocado at his peak. Why are people upvoting this? What is so special about this? Well, that's the whole point. This right here is one of the hottest things for someone who is into this. Someone going from skinny to extremely fat and not understanding, not realizing why they're gaining it so quickly.
And so something that's really insidious about feeder content, as like, to be clear, I also went to school and I was in psychology, so I took a lot of classes like very specifically talking about like fetishes and like weird sexual, like human sexuality. So like part of it is also that like part of what is so insidious about a feeder fetish is that the highest value for a feeder fetishist is to do it to someone who doesn't know that it is happening to them. So like that's what's like really like one of the things that's really up and insidious about it is that they like it is a pleasurable thing to do it without that person knowing that you're trying to feed them to death. Like it's really like part of it is this kind of like lack of consent thing. Like there's so much attached to it, and I'm sure we're gonna get into that. But like it's a covert thing that it's like trying to get somebody to be fat. Like it's really up, like super up.
Losing control to the point where they don't even realize that they are gaining weight at an alarming level. And I mean, the comments explain themselves, right? First one says, "So hot, I need to encourage you." Damn, that's really impressive. Damn, someone ballooned. I'll tell you what, keep at it. Oh my god, congrats and mad respect. Interesting. Nikocado had uploaded 2 videos in rapid succession about his weight back in 2017, but wouldn't mention his weight that much afterwards. His videos would be mostly centered around him and Orlin, their relationship and how toxic and crazy it is, around the food and his mental health. He would make clickbaity videos about his kidneys, about diabetes, about his health, but it wouldn't be as blatant.
Not just low-key encouraging your partner, I'd assume. It can be in a lot of different forms, and granted, I don't really know all of the like ins and outs of a lot of that stuff, but it is like sneaking in calories to stuff, giving things that are really high calorie and like saying they're not. Because a lot of like the feeder fetish thing, it is like there's an aspect around it being obsessing over like controlling someone in that way. Making someone vulnerable, you know, making someone unable to help themselves, taking away someone's like agency. And there's this like massive control aspect to feeder stuff. So like taking away agency from them via this fetish without letting them know, without them knowing that it's happening to them or like why they're gaining. Like there's so many aspects. I mean, that's the extreme end though. Not really. Not really. To a certain extent, I'm sure there are casual feeders, but no, that is the point of the fetish. That's what we're literally talking about right now. That's the content he was making. It is. That the extreme end is that they die. But I mean, that is ultimately the core of a feeder fetish is the control aspect. So no, it's not the extreme end. That is the core that emanates out from into every other single part of the fetish, is that it is ultimately about controlling someone so completely. And so, like, yeah, on the extreme end, like, that they rely on their partner and stuff, but that is, like, not a far offshoot from just controlling their lives in that way. Like, you have to understand the core of it is control. So, like, on the higher extreme end, they die, but, like, that is ultimately, like, the result and a pleasurable experience that they end up relying on you and they don't have as much agency. That is part of the fetish. It is a control thing. It's not really so much about them being fat, though that's probably part of it. It is controlling someone's life in that way and taking away their ability to like do things. Ever since you called his content feeder content in your Nikocado weight loss reaction video, I was always like, now that makes more sense. Yeah, I never considered this when it was happening. I thought it was a byproduct of just wanting more income after the YouTube success he had reached. That's actually the other way around. That's crazy. Yeah. And a lot of people did not understand this, but again, I'm a collector of weird internet knowledge and also took a lot of, like, I have like actual schooling about like fetishes and human sexuality and stuff like that. But the core of this fetish is control. And so anything that branches off of over controlling people, it's not really an extreme version of the fetish. The fetish itself is actually very extreme. Like, it seems very like chill. It's like, oh, I just want to feed my partner. But like this is an incredibly extreme fetish, and most of it is not just like, oh, I just want them to get a little chubby. Most people in this fetish want them to like die. I'm just being honest. Like there's no like chill version of a feeder fetish, realistically speaking.
About him gaining weight. He would then somewhat mention it again after a year, saying that he's looking weird with his double chin, he's so ugly, etc., etc. But he wasn't committing to it. He was only sprinkling it here and there. The theory might be that he had a sugar daddy that really enjoyed this, or maybe Orlin himself enjoyed this and was encouraging him to do it. Years would pass by, and again, he was doing shocking content involving him and his husband and how bad their relationship is.
Right.
The massive turning point was the mukbang drama arc, when he was actually going up against other creators like Veronica Wang and Trisha Paytas. You see, up until this point, he was kind of winging it, having an idea of what he wanted to be or what he wanted to do. But when this happened, it changed things. He thought, wait, maybe I can be some sort of hero for the common folk. Maybe I can actually be loved instead of hated. Maybe that's not the only answer here. And that's exactly what he did, and it worked out splendidly until the Stephanie Sue incident happened, when he had realized that, yeah, this is not gonna work out. I clearly can't be a good guy, especially not after this incident. My reputation is gone. So I'm gonna commit to being a villain, but more importantly, I'm gonna commit to being an adult content creator. And that's when right after this, he would upload a video, Nikocado Avocado, what happened to you? And then another video titled Nikocado Avocado, then versus now. This to me is him fully committing to the adult content objective. This video right here reminded people of how skinny and healthy he used to be being on a vegan diet. The video afterwards that we watched reminded everyone that, oh, they used to be a very healthy, happy couple on a vegan diet, and now
they're fat and miserable. Like, this is like, I just want to like, I cannot express to you enough like that there is not genuinely like a non-extreme version of this fetish. Because there's like people who like chubby people, there's people who like fat people, there's people who might like feeding someone, you know? But there's a very big difference between that and like ultimately the core of this is like, I want to feed someone like to death. I want to feed someone so that I can control them. I want to feed someone and make them fat as a way to control them. Like, there's no tame chill. Like, it's like it always sort of like it's very insidious, and it's a really serious thing. And I mean, consenting adults and all that, but that is absolutely what this content is. And he does feed into, via the content that he made, he did purposely feed into the most extreme versions of this fetish too, as well. You know, that's why we're showing that we're getting sicker and all of those things.
look at them. They're very fat and they're losing control. You know who would consider this really hot? A gainer, a feeder.
Yeah.
Because how is this any different than what we were seeing on the Reddit? How is this any different from someone showing a before and after picture? Except here, this is on a way more personal level. You're not only seeing this man's body change, but you're seeing his personal life change, his relationships, his entire surroundings change based on him not able to control his food intake. If you really think about it, Nikocado Avocado's entire channel is an archive of how healthy he used to be, how skinny he used to be, and how he gained weight slowly but surely because he kept gorging his mouth with huge amounts of food without being able to control himself. There is nothing hotter for someone who is into this. There is nothing that can compare on the entire internet. Nick had effectively found a niche, and instead of just contributing to this niche, he became someone who could supply that niche with content they would have never even thought possible. Not only was he everything that they could have ever wanted, he gave them things that they didn't even think was even possible. He was making their wildest dreams and fantasies come true. And after 2020, he made this very obvious. Look at this video right here. I'm getting fat.
Oh, this shit is so like, ugh, it's making my skin not really like feel like it fits, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, because the reality of like being this kind of fetishist is like not very many people are going to be actually willing to participate in that with you. You know, not many people really want to do that. And so it's like he, on purpose or by stumbling on it, fell into this insane niche of like, it's just so foul.
And I don't know why, done yet again, but this time in 2020. The video starts off at a very interesting angle. He's really emphasizing the size of his belly, and then yet again brings the camera back down to his pelvis. He had this thing where he would deliberately wear shirts that were smaller sizes to show his belly protruding. He would also touch it a lot, jiggle it a lot. And guys, listen, I'm really sorry for this because I know most of you just found this goofy, funny, but in reality, it's not. This is softcore adult content specifically made for people who like this, the gainers and the feeders.
This is that, yeah, yes. It's an advertisement. Let's be real. Oh my God, he lost the weight to get fat all over again. Yeah, I do believe that, yes. If the weight loss is real and all of that, and that also wasn't just like smoke and mirrors or something ridiculous, absolutely yes. I do think he lost the weight so that he could start the process over. I think the cycle renews. I think that's exactly what this is, because he went right back to eating, even in the video announcing it.
This is something that they find really hot. This might seem like a funny video to you, but in reality, this is going to make someone immediately see if he does any sort of adult content, because they
the deep belly button shit, the jiggling, like, come on.
Find this to be very attractive. The same with this. You're witnessing someone who used to be a vegan lose complete control over food, and he just simply cannot stop eating. Look at how big he got. That's very hot to them. I think it's safe to say that anything you might have found funny was actually nothing more than a way to recruit more people to his OF once they realize that they're into it. This video
yeah. Yeah.
that I've already shown you of how he used to be and how he is now, what do you think this is? It's not meant to be a sad story. It's meant to be a showcase of what you'll be finding on his OF account.
Also, very specifically, like how visible like the stretch marks are as well. Like all of it plays into this fetish. It's so like it's so foul.
Look at one of the comments that he wrote on his own TikTok. I'm crying. What did I do to my body? How did this happen? I tried so hard to eat vegetables and count my calories, but my body hates me. Again, this to me just sounds like a gainer/feeder fantasy.
Yeah.
Here's what's really interesting. On the Gainers subreddit, there was someone who had posted, from a non-gainer, could this Nikocado Avocado theory be plausible? This links to a video from one of the only YouTubers I've ever seen talk about it, which is Your Movie Sucks. In it, he talks about something similar to this, that the entirety of Nikocado Avocado was made specifically for adult content, catered to a specific niche. The top comment says, he's not a secret gainer, he's an actual gainer.
Yeah.
He maintains an account in a gaining site, and his videos are where he plays his mukbang character. Then goes on to say he was verified by the owners of the app/company, as they don't allow fakers and posers, and there are photos that cannot be found elsewhere.
Oh, whoa, I didn't know that one. Whoa. Okay, so he was specifically posting this to a website like that. That's crazy. What the?
There's someone else with a deleted account that confirms this as well. So I went ahead and sent a private message on Reddit to that top commenter, the one who said that Nikocado Avocado was present on an app/website for gainers where he was posting content you didn't find elsewhere. And this is where things get really interesting. I told this user who I was, the fact that I'm making a video about Nikocado Avocado, and that I'd like to just know what the app is for further research. After 5 days, he finally replies to me, but there was only one message, and it was a GIF. It said, I don't understand the question, and I won't respond to it. As soon as I saw this GIF, I understood immediately what it meant. He had immediately deleted every single comment he had left in that thread. To me, this only confirms that this is true. There is an app made specifically for gainers and feeders, and Nikocado Avocado has a verified account there. When this user saw that an outsider was interested in this, he didn't want his community to be shown in a bad light, so he immediately backtracked and deleted all info. Of course, I could still be wrong, but I'm fully convinced, especially after this interaction, that Nikocado Avocado knew exactly what he was doing. Now look, gainers and feeders are not necessarily these self-destructive deviants that like to watch other human beings suffer for content or pleasure. Most of them actually partake in what they like with fictional characters, drawings, 3D animations, and typically have a rule to never involve real human beings.
This is fair, yeah. Granted, again, what I said about the fetish not really having like a chill version and being very extreme, it's still true. But yes, ideally someone with this fetish doesn't do it to anybody, because that's like, you know, like wrong, especially without consent and like on purpose trying to fuck somebody up like that. But yeah, there are people who are not complete deviant degenerates who are trying to ruin people's lives. That I should have made more apparent. However, there is no, like, truly mild version of this fetish, I guess.
But still, it was really hard to ignore what Nikocado Avocado was doing, because it was just too hot. It was literally everything they could have ever wanted in a fantasy. And they weren't forcing him to do it. He was doing it to himself. But yeah, it's a really weird thing to be into, all right? Like, I'm just gonna say it. 6 years ago, Nikocado Avocado had posted this in his community posts on YouTube, saying, "Hey, Sloth fam," this is what he used to call his community before calling them ants and peasants. "Look, I found this old photo of me when I was in New York City working as a freelance violinist back 6 to 7 years ago. I was a freshman in college, 19 years old. Look how skinny I was. And that necktie blowing in the wind. Girl, I thought it was so cool. If you guys have any more violin song suggestions for me, comment them down below right now. What should I play next?" He knew what he was doing, even 6 years ago. This brings us back to the Mel magazine article. Nick would say that him and Orlin have gotten better and better at faking food fights, cheating meltdowns, breakups, etc. It doesn't stem from anything that reflects our relationship in real life. We learned very early on in our careers that drama is the #1 seller on YouTube. That's the most effective way to put yourself out there, and it's worked.
I don't know what you mean. I would never cover drama. Never, ever. Definitely not doing it right now.
Which brings us to the next part of the interview, in which Nick reveals that Orlin was the one who came up with the idea for an OF account. So Orlin not only told
Hi, Six. It was nice meeting you this weekend. That was really cool. Same. I would never, ever, ever do drama content. That's very weird and wrong.
Nick to make a YouTube channel, he was the one to tell him to make an OF account as well. Is he the mastermind behind this? It's funny because people would think he was the victim in these fights, but it was all staged. Or was it? We don't know. Because how can we believe a single thing this caricature has to say? So this theory of
I mean, high key, he kind of does look like what you would like if you went to like a theme park or something and you had a caricature artist draw you. I feel like Nikocado Avocado would look like it. Like, I don't think he needs a caricature. Just draw him faithfully and it will be a caricature anyway. Kind of insane. Also, I guess I know, I understand that it's like a personality thing that we're saying here, but yeah, he's insane.
Orlin being a feeder and Nick being the
Well, he literally has like a character's costume too, where he has like a red shirt and all that stuff. Like, it's insane.
gainer isn't really that far-fetched. And obviously, it's been a massive success. Nick's OF, according to him in his bio, is in the top 0.14% of creators. Yes, I read that right. 0.14. Now do me a favor, close your eyes. Imagine all the hot men and women on this goddamn website. And now imagine how this dude is making more money than most of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. It's crazy. There are videos reacting.
I wonder why he makes more money than those. Thank you for the gifted. Thank you. Orlin dude. I don't know. It's like, I don't know how much it's like somebody is forced to do something like this. Like, it's just crazy.
To his OF content. And let me tell you, they're not happy about it. As you can see, the reactions are wonderful. They're very much into it. There's actually one picture from this OnlyFans that I unfortunately saw because it was circulating everywhere in the internet as a shocker.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much Nick on all fours sitting there, okay? Taken from the back. And what you could see was his blown out asshole after Orlin had done giving him back shots, okay?
I've heard about this picture. I've never seen it, and I'm glad. And I'm not going to try and go look for it. I'm not going to go look for that. But I've heard about it. But I'm good. I don't need to see that rosebud. I'm chilling. I'm being chilling in the spot.
It's honestly one of the nastiest things. I can literally, when I close my eyes, I can see it. It's one of the nastiest things I've ever seen in my life. This is like my Vietnam flashback. So that was also a way for him to advertise his OF. You don't necessarily see something go so viral from that website. You know, this is definitely a very
It's literally on Google. Yeah, and I'm not going to Google it.
unique case. After the OF's massive success, Nikocado would upload this video titled "My New House Tour. I Bought a $2.3 million penthouse in Las Vegas." This was his crowning achievement. He had destroyed his body for years, made a fool of himself, tricked people, manipulated them, ruined lives, all for the sake of getting more traction to his OF account and buying this penthouse, becoming financially very comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I sit up here in my tower and watch everyone struggle and be poor.
That was kind of funny. I don't know. He sucks and he's awful, but like, it's funny. I see funny, I say funny. Damn.
It's so entertaining. I love watching poor people. They struggle. Oh, I just need popcorn. I could sit here and watch them struggle all day. So up here in my tower, because I'm so rich.
You know, when he says stuff like this, and he looks like that, you can't take it very seriously. This goes back to when Stephanie Sue was saying that she was scared for her life because of him, and then you saw this. It's like, really? This is what you're scared of right here? But
yeah, my answer stays the same as earlier. Yes, I am. I would be, and I still am, and I will be till I die, probably. Yeah, yes, I'm scared.
But then you look at this, and how he's calling everyone ants, how he's behaving, now that he's skinny, and you can actually take him seriously, and all of a sudden, I understand what Stephanie was seeing in him. I don't know who this...
I mean, he purposely Kubrick stared at the camera for half that video. The whole thing was meant to be unsettling, bro.
man is. And I'm starting to believe he doesn't either. Who is Nicholas Perry? Who the hell knows? In any case, he finally uploaded this video called 2 Steps Ahead very recently in September 2024. In it, he says that he was 2 steps ahead, that while everyone was calling him fat and irrelevant the day before, he is now back, and he has lost all his weight, saying that it has been the craziest social experiment of his entire life. He uploaded the video one day after Sunny V2 had uploaded Nikocado's new video is honestly just depressing, in which he sat there, super fat, saying I've ruined my whole life. It was a video uploaded months ago, right? So fairly old. And around the same time that Sunny V2 uploaded his video, iNabber uploaded a 7 whole hours documentary of Nikocado Avocado.
7? Off 7 hours. Okay, I'm into a long YouTube video. I make long YouTube videos. 7 hours. Get out of here. 7 hours.
The stars aligned for Nicholas Perry like it was a prophecy. He waited for the perfect moment and uploaded it, making both videos become outdated in the span of 24 hours. Was he really 2 steps ahead when it came to the weight loss? No, I think he winged it. I think it was part of his plan to lose weight, but this whole 2 steps ahead monologue was just a happy coincidence. Many people were trying to discredit his weight loss, saying that he had just used Ozempic and got the easy way out. Now yes, Ozempic does help a lot, but it's not going to make you lose 250 pounds exclusively by itself. You still have to put in a lot of hard work.
Does that bird not look really different from the bird in the beginning of the video too? This is a question. I don't know. I've been bothered by that. Is it the same bird? Is that still Noodles? Or whatever? Noodles?
So it's pointless to say this. But how the hell did he manage to do it? You've no doubt seen some people talking about it. It turned out that he had a huge backlog of videos and was uploading them as he was losing weight over the span of 2 years. But while he melted a lot of fat over these last 2 years, it doesn't mean that he melted all the ugly aspects of his personality that he displayed for years, excusing it as some social experiment like a prankster from 2016. What I do think though is that he was 2 steps ahead in another way. He was 2 steps ahead in regards to his adult content. Very few people even thought of this being a possibility, and I genuinely think this is the truth. He was so ahead of everyone when it came to this that no one really understood it. No one really thought it a possibility. Everyone was focused on the fact that this guy was killing himself for YouTube views.
Yeah. Well, I mean, regardless, it is what it is, you know? It was the same kind of contest regardless of, like, it was YouTube or OF or whatever. But yeah, insane.
This wasn't even a part of the equation. Nikocado Avocado was more of a sex worker than he ever was a mukbanger. And that's the truth. Now what happens next? Well, he loves attention, he loves fame, we know that much. He'll probably do normal videos. Who knows? Many people who still believe...
I think he's gonna start again. And I think he's gonna redo the whole thing. Genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Because he literally does this whole monologue and then immediately goes into just another mukbang. I think he's reset and he's gonna do it again. I genuinely believe this. If not, then slay. But I believe that he's just restarted the cycle.
The fact that him and Orlin had a lot of relationship issues think that Orlin had left him. I don't think so. I think they're still together. But Nicholas Perry is a very smart guy when it comes to YouTube, views, and in general, videos. From any YouTuber's standpoint, it would be so stupid to make your big reveal with Orlin. He milked the fact that he lost a lot of weight. Expect another video on his Nikocado Avocado channel with him and Orlin both having lost weight. Acting all happy, like nothing had happened, like this was genuinely all a bad dream that they just woke up from. And that video will also break the internet. Overall, Nikocado Avocado's story is something very unique, something that has never really been done at this scale on YouTube. But the dark secret behind it all is that halfway through, it wasn't even about mukbang anymore, and it wasn't even about YouTube. During all those years though, he was a roller coaster, a mess that had endangered other YouTubers' careers, that had put others in shitty situations, and that had manipulated his viewers to care about him, to actually worry about him, only to tell them, I don't give a single shit. I personally am, as well as many others, very curious about what the future holds for him, but for now, all we can do is wait for his next video, which will most likely involve Orlin. Thank you so much for watching this video, especially till the end. You're a real one. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I'm definitely taking a break after this one, though.
Yeah.
Mwah.
So, yeah. You know, it's like, I don't even know, like, how to, like, end this off. I'm really glad that somebody in depth has talked about the feeder aspect of this, because I think people, like, didn't understand that. Nikocado Avocado becoming thin does not take away the fact that he's, like, a pretty unethical, awful person who, prioritizes money and views and attention over quite literally any other thing that you're supposed to care about as a human being and an adult. And now more people hopefully know. How many views does this have? God, I hope people got to that part. 153 million views so far, or 153,000 views so far. I hope it gets a lot more views. I hope this video of mine gets more views. Not so much because I want the money. I also want the money, but also, like, can we please talk about the fact that Nikocado Avocado was openly just making softcore feeder porn on YouTube for years? I don't care that he's thin now. He was shitting his pants and doing feeder porn. Thank you for watching. If you've gotten this far, I really appreciate you. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Have you ever heard of this particular interest before? I feel like a lot of people had not heard of it before. We stream live daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/hex_juice, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.